Welcome back to Kind of Funny's Harry Potter in Review. That's right. We are ranking and reviewing every movie in the Harry Potter cinematic universe. My name's Tim Gettys. I'm joined by Andy Cortez.
Good morning.
The master of song, as we like to call him.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. So proper.
What time is it?
Good proper.
It's almost
22.
It's almost
22.
All right, cool.
We got Kevin Coelho,
What's up, dude?
the big dog.
Oh.
We got Nick Scarpino there with the patented DC
Pour
pour.
yourself a little party, ladies and gentlemen.
pour up that
we're about
party.
to go into the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes, we are. Oh my God! Before the show, we were talking about a lot of fun stuff, and I can't wait to see what you got in your Chamber of Secrets.
USB
Nick,
and memory
for today.
sticks.
Oh my God, Davi, and just what do you think he's doing with the socks? Really, you know what I mean?
Do
you think he lays them out like his victims? He just lays them out.
What
real quick?
Every Tuesday,
does that mean? I don't think
11
you know
a.m.
what you're saying.
Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Or you could get the video later on youtube.com/kindoffunny or roosterteeth.com or podcast services around the globe to get your favorite audio podcast experience with Kind of Funny Reviews. Just search for Kind of Funny Reviews, leave some good reviews. Unlike you.
Review
Look at
the
you.
reviews.
Yeah.
Making songs.
You're rhyming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that a song?
Feeling good on this Tuesday.
Okay, all right.
On this
Wasn't a
beautiful
song.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Beware,
Godly
beware of
Tuesday.
death
You
on
said
Tuesday.
reviews twice, right? Yeah. All right.
Patreon.com/kindoffunny. You get to be part of the show, just like Patreon producer David Mintel. He's a magician.
Street magic.
Just like Harry. Do they ever call them magicians?
No,
Nah.
they're
For
wizards.
some reason, that's really funny to me.
They're witches and wizards.
Thinking
That's
of them as
different.
magicians.
Well, in the world of
different.
Harry Potter, there is a magician, but they're just fake asses like that Chris Angel dude. He doesn't know how to do it.
Also, I believe that
I'm joking. I made that up
Harry's what's his uncle? His uncle would talk shit about
Vernon?
his dad, but saying he was a magician, like when they were alive.
Interesting.
Do do actual street magicians
Yeah.
exist in the world?
In Harry Potter?
Like,
yeah.
is there like a David Blaine of the world?
Oh, I'm sure.
Man, he has no idea then, man.
No, yeah. I bet you there's still there's some people that are like, oh, that Muggle's doing I don't know how he does it, but he's good.
It's pretty good.
That's one of those good Muggles.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
There is actually a fun tidbit. I forget at what point in the series. It's not like street magic, but during the whole, they don't bring this up at all in the movies, but Harry's doing homework and he's learning history, and it's during the witch trials.
Witch trials,
Yeah. Wizards and witches would get caught on purpose because the torture was just tickling them.
Yeah,
so
the
they thought it
fire.
was fucking hilarious, and they would get themselves caught all the time to get quote unquote tortured by muggles.
Fucking perverts.
Yeah,
Wow.
sick
Fucking
little shit,
hilarious.
dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
that
do
sounds
you
like some
think-
Nick stuff.
What do you think their views are on Siegfried and Roy and the Tiger?
Oh, I think they love him. Who
Again,
doesn't love Siegfried and Roy?
I think there's a bunch of people that are like, oh, these Muggles are fucking cool.
Or like these
Yeah.
fucking morons. Why are you playing with tigers? Do you think they?
If you saw someone playing with two
Wait,
tigers,
why are you
that had
relating
master and command of two tigers,
Friends of Tigers with magicians.
That's like magic.
Vegas, they're just all in Vegas.
Right?
Yeah, Vegas musicians. Musicians.
Musicians?
Yeah.
But wait. Why?
Today we're talking about Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which I will say is a badass name.
Yeah.
I'm all
It's a
about
good
that.
name. It's a good
Released
name.
on November 3rd, 2002, directed by Chris Columbus, once again, the same man that directed Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, depending on where you're from. Also Home Alone and its sequel, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York,
very
as we
good.
went over
Very good one.
last week. A budget of $100 million.
Hell yeah.
And a box office of $879.2 million. So a smaller budget than last time.
Interesting.
By about $25 million.
That's weird.
I wonder what they cut.
I don't know.
Well, they had less CG, right? They didn't have any falling kids. They just had a big snake. And that's easy to composite.
No falling
They really
kids.
did. A lot of the stuff was practical, right? They're just
Yeah.
walking around in a hallway full of water most of the time. That was
There was a lot of water. Definitely
Spooky
a lot of water. Spooky water. And a runtime of 2 hours and 41 minutes, making this the longest movie
You don't
in
feel it.
the Harry Potter
Just flies
movie
by.
franchise. You feel it.
I felt it.
Could have been 45, 55 minutes longer. I'd been happy.
Would have loved it. Would have loved it.
Longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the movie that is most accurate to the books.
I would say both Chamber of Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone are the most accurate to their book counterparts. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, those first two, if I'm not mistaken, were the shorter books.
Yes. Yeah. They're both like around
like
300 to 350 pages, so
Yeah.
you can read
Really?
them in
I
it.
thought that it was shorter than that. But
No, the first book is 308, and then this one is 341. So yeah, you can read them in
You
that.
can see him literally on the shelf. You see, it's like, oh, that's cute. Oh,
Yeah.
let's get a little big. And then Azkaban comes, and you're like, oh.
No, Azkaban's only like
close.
Oh, which one am I? Oh, Goblet of Fire.
Goblet of
Goblet of
Fire.
Fire is just like a joke.
Azkaban is like 430, and then it jumps to Goblet of Fire, which is like 700.
But then it goes
something.
back because Order of the Phoenix is smaller than Goblet.
No,
right?
Order of the Phoenix is the longest one.
How the fuck did I have time to read these? I was rollerblading. And
You
doing
didn't read
cool
it.
shit.
Don't lie.
Well,
You
they're not
didn't
that
read
hard
it.
to
Yeah, I
read.
read the first 3.
Did you
I read
really?
Tascament, yeah.
I thought you didn't read.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean? Back in the day, I read a lot.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you used to like the last time you read was like high school, and I just assumed that it was like.
I mean, these movies
Potter.
were before
No,
high school.
but let me get there. So, but I assumed that you read like super like a quarter of a book here, half a book here.
Oh no. I was like,
He's a magician.
Harry
Man,
Potter
my-
books are like Reese's peanut butter cups, man. Once you start that package, once it's open, you gotta eat the whole thing.
You're reading the whole thing.
Full fucking
Better
thing.
hope you didn't get king size.
I was getting size, homie. Always.
Before we get into the plot and all the fun stuff of this, like what are the initial thoughts of this movie?
I didn't like it as much as I did Sorcerer's Stone. I felt like it dragged on a little too much for me. It was a little too meaty. There were several times where I'm like looking, how much time is left? How much time is left? How much time is left? And some of it was because I was worried that Nick wasn't going to be able to watch it in time because you were like, you put on Slack like, hey, let me know when you're done. And I was like, all right. And I was like, fuck, I got an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh,
to
yeah,
go.
don't worry about me. I watch them in like chunks. Like, so I
Gotcha.
started watching. I just need to finish like the last like 40 minutes. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a big deal.
I still liked it. Just I didn't find it as enjoyable as Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more in this one, and there's a lot more there's a lot more to the mystery and a lot of the of what's going on that they unfold. And it does drag a little bit. Like there's just moments where we kind of come back from break and someone has figured something out, and it you know, that happens once in Sorcerer's Stone, but here you're just like, let's all talk. Let's all get in a room and just talk real quick because we could probably figure this out pretty easily if we just went to Hagrid's house and made him fucking tell us what was going on. But I was telling Kevin, we were talking, I'm like, I'm probably the person who should render an opinion least on these because I just love this franchise so much. And I remember it builds on itself so well toward the end that you start to see the beginnings of stuff in this one that you don't recognize at first. But if you know the greater significance, you're like, oh, that's so cool. I forgot they detailed that in this, and this is where that first got fleshed out. And like, it's just a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Kev?
I mean, I loved it. I feel like you're starting to see hints of the lore, and you getting backstory of people, and it's like, it's just, it didn't feel long for me. And like, we ended this movie, and immediately we're like, fuck, should we watch the next one? And it's like, no, let's stop, let's wait. It has its moments where it's not paced super well, but like, I think that those moments pass, and like, there's like threads that are going on throughout that are like great, like the story of the blonde dude. What's his name?
Lockhart.
Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yeah, Lockhart.
So good.
Where it's just like the
What a
whole
great
time
payoff.
it's like, what a prick, and I was like, you know, he's gonna get it. We're like, I know.
They couldn't
So
have
it's
picked
seen
like a younger, handsomer dude.
How dare you,
Oh,
sir?
dude,
Yeah,
Kenneth
it's weird that all the
Branagh.
girls are like, I want to fuck, and he's just like this dude.
I
He's
love
like this
that.
58-year-old man.
First off, that's Kenneth Branagh you're talking about, the director of Thor. So how fucking dare you?
Yeah. The
How
first Thor?
dare you?
Yeah.
Which
Yes,
Thor?
He directed the first Thor.
Well, it makes sense because he's also known for directing and starring in a lot of like
A lot of
Shakespeare
Shakespearean stuff, yeah.
like movie adaptations.
A lot of people say his
That's the
Hamlet
Thor
was the
stuff.
best Hamlet movie.
I would
No way,
say.
Mel
Oh, yeah.
Gibson was the best.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Mel's was like 2 hours. I think
Yeah,
Kenneth
no,
Branagh's
he's
was like 18 hours long.
And
It
it's
was so
fucking
long.
rad.
So for me, Chamber of Secrets, the first half, I was like, all right, like I actually like this a lot more than the
Yeah.
first one. Like I feel like
It's
we're,
darker.
we're moving quicker. It's darker. The kids are older. Like, they're still not there yet, but it's
The
just
next
like,
one they're gonna get there.
and I can't wait
The
because
next
it's
one
like
they all get like they get pubes.
What was the Nick?
like-
Why?
They become
For
like,
the audio listeners, he made a hand gesture as if like their crotches exploded.
what would
Yeah.
be what's the
Hair.
spell there?
when Crachia Levioso.
You nailed it. Fucking nailed it.
thanks,
The
guys.
first half of the movie, I was like, all right, cool. Like this is, I'm in. I'm totally in. And then at some point, like I feel like it's around the break when they are all figuring stuff out. And pretty much once Tom Riddle gets introduced, that to me, I'm just like, it takes a real turn where I'm like, this is starting to feel super Monster of the Week. And it feels predictable in a way where it's like, all right, this person's going to figure out a little piece of information that like conveniently the thing that they need is always going to be right around the corner. And I get it's a children's book being turned into a movie franchise, so I'm not going to be nitpicky about all that.
No, you're not wrong about that, though.
It just gets weird because I'm just like, without knowing all the things that they're building, it kind of just feels like a bunch of random things happening with characters. And I feel like this movie, more so than the last one, has a lot of characters that feel very cartoony and unrealistic. And even in the world that they built, where it's just like the dialogue that they'll have, it's just like, why would you say things that way? Or like, why would you act that way with how your character is supposed to be? That I didn't really notice so much in Sorcerer's Stone. But that was mainly the second half. And unlike the first one where it ended up like, I'm ready for the second one, this one ended up like, oh.
Yeah, again, that goes back to my criticism for the first one where like you hadn't been introduced to Lucius Malfoy. But even with Draco, I've always felt like the Malfoys are just a little. I could do with a little bit more subtlety in their like sort of evilness. I don't need them to be like that Disney Channel. Yeah.
I think largely that's the kid though. I think Mr. Malfoy, like Lucius, I think that actor's
Senor
awesome.
Malfoy.
Yeah, he nailed it.
Star Trek.
He is from Star Trek.
Yeah.
He was great in that as well. Yeah.
I don't think it's the acting. I think it's just the direction.
Well, also,
like
I mean, to be honest too, and I don't know if this is overgeneralizing with the whole franchise, but I think Chamber of Secrets is sort of, I don't want to say the low point because I don't think there is a low point, but this is a book that I think we've started like lays a foundation, and then from here I think the books just get better.
Yeah.
Truth be told.
What's our little thing? It's the
Greg's not here, but worry not. Nick will tell us the plot.
Wow.
That was really good.
Thanks, guys.
Wands at the ready, everyone, because
Oh,
we're
yes.
about to tell some motherfucking secrets. We start.
How big's your wand?
How big's my wand?
Yeah.
Average. Thick though. Real
Okay.
thick. Not that thick.
Heavy. It's a heavy
Like I
wand.
always say, I'm not going to reach the end of the tunnel, but I'm good at apologizing.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we start back at Privet Drive. Harry's up there in his room with Hedwig, and he's starting to get crazy because they're not letting him out. And also, no one's sending Harry any letters, and it sucks. All his friends hate him, and Uncle Vernon is a piece of shit. But guess what? They're having house guests over. So Harry, you better keep that gigantic owl to yourself, because if it gets out and goes down to the house, we're gonna be pissed off. And Harry's like, no problem. Guess what though? Shit goes down, and shit goes down in the name of a house elf. That's right. Dobby the house elf shows up finally.
Horrifying.
And Dobby is here. He is right here, little fucker.
Look at him, he's so cute.
He is a
staring at
horrifying little creature. We learn a little bit about the backstory of the house elves here. They are basically an enslaved race of
They
beings.
like it.
They kind of like
Doesn't
it.
seem like
whenever
they
they
do.
whenever they talk badly about their
I mean,
owners,
he's got a bad owner.
he does have a bad owner. They have to hurt themselves, and Dobby's there, and Dobby's basically sabotaging this whole thing because Dobby does not want Harry to go back to Hogwarts, because if he goes back, horrible things will happen. Now, right here, Dobby could just be like, I'm going to lay it all out for you and tell you exactly what's going on, because
But he
I seem
do
to
that.
know everything. But if he does that, you get the feeling that he's gonna have to punish himself so badly,
Real
he might
bad.
have to kill himself. So that's fine. We also get at one
What a
point, I
shame.
think he just, and I could have been making this up, but I'm pretty sure this was written into the script. I think he just has a passing glance over to a sock and just goes, "Oh yeah."
Why?
He makes the same look
Stop
Snape
it.
makes when he looks
Stop
at
it.
Harry.
I don't know what it is about house elves and wool socks, but man, they go together. It's like
It's-
peanut butter is in your penis.
It's literally just this one scene that happens later with a sock, and then never again do we see him have a sock.
Yet
You
they
know what?
decide to give him a sock.
They put a sock in his
Well, I mean, that
In his
makes
This is an
marketing
iconic
materials.
moment.
Yeah, this is an iconic moment with him.
So was the moment after this. They didn't show it though.
Of course,
Yeah.
we're skipping it. We're gonna try to move along at a little bit faster clip. Dobby, of course, floats a cake over the guest's head, smashes it all over him, and they think it's Harry. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, it's my cousin. This is my cousin, not cousin, nephew. He's
crazy.
deranged.
Yeah.
It sucks. I'm sorry." And then they, of course, Uncle Vernon bolts him in. Like you see him actually putting bars in the window. He's like, "This is what I don't quite get." He's like, "To punish you because I hate having you around, I'm going to keep you around forever now."
I still don't understand.
It's like, just
Well, I
let
mean,
me go.
hopefully they get into it at some point.
And also,
No,
I feel
he
like
was
they
trying
would have
to-
tried to kill the owl a long time ago.
He was trying to get it so that, like, make it so Harry doesn't go back to the school, so he doesn't learn more magic.
Yeah.
Because they assume that he
they
can.
want-
He
Why
wants
are
to
they
cut him off his
keeping
work.
him?
Well,
they just,
what
just
choice
ask,
that- what
ask
choice
David
that-
Blaine's
Take him
parents.
into the woods.
You can't stop him.
There's explanations for all of this later.
I hope.
why they keep
we'll
it.
come with it later. But it doesn't
Barely.
matter because you know
Huh?
what? What's
Never
up?
mind. Never mind.
Oh, go for it.
They barely explain it in the movies, though.
Yeah, that's true. They don't do a great job in the movies explaining, but we'll fill you in.
Great. Real cool, couple little fun Chamber of Secret facts for you. The filmmakers.
Chamber of Facts.
Chamber of Facts. The filmmakers had to build an entire new row of houses as they lost access to the neighborhood they originally used for Privet Drive. So it's all a bunch of fake shit. And filming of Chamber of Secrets started 3 days after Philosopher's Stone finished.
Cool.
That's fucking bullshit. How do you It's Harry Potter, man.
Well, because someone was probably
that's probably
it's
it.
Harry Potter. I want $1 billion
Yeah.
for you to use my house.
And they were like, fuck it,
you.
we just build these houses,
Yeah.
you idiots.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dumbasses.
Morons.
You just build a suburban house anywhere. They did it in Lethal Weapon 3. It worked out well.
Remember?
Continuing on, of course, Harry's
I know.
like, shit, this sucks. I don't know what to do. And then he sees it. He looks up and he sees a car flying in the sky. And who is piloting this amazing vehicle? The Weasleys. That's right. Ron and Fred and George have come to literally break Harry out of his prison. And it's awesome. And I'm telling you guys right now, if I ever get locked in my room, I expect you guys to drive a car to my window
No problem,
and break
I can
me
do
the
it.
fuck
Who do you
out.
want to drive?
Absolutely.
Not Kevin.
I mean, in this regard,
I mean, here's the thing. You want to get the job done?
I want the job
You
done
know?
dirty and fast. So it's
Yeah.
going to be Kevin.
I'll get
and
it
there's
done.
there's no offense to you, Tim, but last time I saw you park, I think you're still parking. Like that's how long it took you. Andy, you're a lovely driver.
Thanks, man.
Hair looks great today.
Thanks.
Of course, they break him out. Uncle Vernon's like, shit, no, we got to keep him in. And then Uncle Vernon grabs his leg, and then Ron jukes the thing to the left, and Uncle Vernon falls to his
Falls out
death.
the window.
Breaks,
Straight-
falls to his
Breaks his
death.
neck, dead.
Credits
Breaks-
roll.
Love it. Of course, Harry. They bring Harry over to the Weasley's house, which we get to see for the first time, which is really, really cool. And I love the design of this house because everything in the Weasleys is sort of just a little off kilter, but still very endearing,
Whimsical and
and
it's
fun.
sweet, yeah.
And this is, by the way, for Harry's first time really seeing a wizard's household, so we get to see it from his perspective, which is cool. He walks in, he sees the dishes washing themselves, the scarf being knitted by itself, all this stuff, and you can just see the look in his eyes of like, fuck. Like, I just came from this horrible place, and this is where everyone else gets to grow up. Life's not fair. I should be
This
evil.
place has a John Williams score. Like,
It has an amazing John
Yeah.
Williams score. It comes in, of course, and they go, "Oh, cool! Mom put some food out for mom made some breakfast. Breakfast already made, but like we're sneaking in, so just be cool." And let me tell you something right now, everyone out there. You think you're gonna sneak one past Mrs. Weasley?
No.
You think
so
you're gonna
dumb.
fucking get one past me?
You're
She
fucking
has
dumb.
18 children,
So many
and
kids.
some of them are twins. You know how evil twins always are? They fuck with their parents constantly. It's
They're
fucked
really
up.
mean. They're really mean.
They're really mean. Of course, Mrs.
Twins
Weasley.
in general?
Just in general,
Yeah, yeah,
You ever
yeah.
met a twin? Horrible.
Have you?
Minnesota Twins.
Have you?
Oh god,
Fran,
terrible.
apparently.
Of course, Mrs. Weasley's like she's pissed, but she's not that pissed because we're starting to get a concept that she's got an affinity for Harry here. Like, she comes and she's like, "I'm pissed at you guys. Your dad's gonna get so pissed when he sees the car that you took the car." And then we get one of the most endearing scenes I think of this movie, where Ginny comes downstairs and sees Harry and just freaks out,
Great
and it just goes away, which is great.
Yeah.
I got a fun little thing here about
Yeah.
Ginny, and this is only fun because of Fascinate.com, where I got a lot of these facts. Their editorializing is a little interesting. Bonnie Wright, who played Ginny, got to bring one of her best friends onto the set to be an extra. Her other friends got nothing.
What?
Why would
That's a
you
weird
write
line.
it that way?
That's a weird line.
That's a terrible way to write it. Of course, we also get a very similar reaction from Mr. Weasley. When
I
he
bet
comes
you
in.
that was one of her other friends who didn't get anything.
That's hilarious.
I wrote that.
Mr. Weasley comes home from having been called to the Ministry of Magic. There's been a lot of raids, lots of stuff are happening. We're starting to get some grumblings that some shit's happening in the background, although it doesn't really get fleshed out in this movie. He comes home and he looks and he realizes that it's Harry Potter, and he has a moment too where he's like, "Oh wow, you're Harry Potter, aren't you?" And he's taken aback by it, which I thought was endearing. And
Well,
then,
it's one of those moments because they have so many kids. He looks at him and he's like, "Did I forget
yeah,
a child?
That I have
Which
kids?
one are you?"
There's so many kids.
And Arthur Weasley, just salt of the earth guy. Mrs. Weasley's like, "Hey, you got to tell your kids. You got to yell at your kids." Just does the dad thing.
Yeah.
She's like, "You got to yell at your kids because they took the car out." And he's like, "Did they really? How did it perform?" And she's like, "He's like, oh, no, it was terrible thing. I'm sure there's some other stuff in here that gets there's some other exposition here. But
So hold on, I have a question already. Where the fuck is the Weasley's house?
It's in the burrow.
Well,
Weasley-
it
Is the burrow?
It's
So
in,
magic-
it's in
so
the
no, the-
Wizarding world, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but the Wizarding World and the Muggle world
They're
are
combined.
together. They
Yeah.
just have spells and shit so that Muggles
They
can't see
hide
it.
it.
So we're gonna get to like later. You'll see like there's
So where's Hogwarts then?
Nobody knows.
nobody
It's hidden.
knows.
Jesus
It's just one of those things where like if you're like there could be a magician's house or a wizard's house like underneath us, we would never know it. because
I
you
always-
can't see him coming in.
It's,
I was had the same
uh,
question. Where I'm like, well, they missed going to
train.
platform 3.
Well, yeah, but they
4th or whatever.
followed the train. Remember?
9 3/4.
They followed the train. There's
Yeah,
a- there's
yeah,
like-
but I just never knew how they actually ever saw this magical train.
Are they got magic eyes?
well, they also
not
they're
all.
also
See,
part
in
of
the
the
world of magic, things are different.
But Tim, to answer your question, the borough is actually located near a like Muggle town. It's closest to Ottery St. Catchpole, Devon.
Put up on Google Maps.
That's not how that works. guys.
we
But
also
anyway,
go-
Sure
yeah.
it is.
This is gonna be our forget everything you know.
Yeah, totally. No,
But
it's
it- but-
magic.
But if you're in the wizarding community, you're immune to the enchantments that go to the Muggle stuff.
Yeah.
So like you
So
would
you would
you don't
see
have to
it.
walk around all the time and be completely blind. Like if you're a wizard, you're in the know, sort of. Does that make sense?
Hidden in plain sight.
Remember
Kinda,
that
yeah.
little corner, house by my mom's house that was like a little shack that was
The
all
abandoned
broken
one.
down? Imagine if it was actually a giant, like 3-story building, but we never got close because it was this broken down shack.
Or it's a broken down shack and you walk in and it's like a mansion.
Huge inside.
That's
There
a
you go,
magical
magic, man.
enchantments. Magic World.
Forget everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, dude, I'm gonna forget.
There's
I'm like-
a great moment here where Arthur asks Harry exactly what the purpose of a rubber duck is, and I love that because his job is to like Muggle artifacts, things like that. I forget what his exact position is, but that's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Okay, so now it's time to go get supplies. They got to go to Diagon Alley, and they're going to use the flu powder. They're going to go
Flu
through
network.
the chimney. They're going to use the flu network.
There it is.
Remember that because the flu network is a thing that keeps going around. So we're building that here. Of course, you got to go in there and you throw the powder down and you say exactly what you're supposed to, like where you want to go with intent. Harry unfortunately says diagonally instead of Diagon Alley, which was the
How
first
did he
time
fuck that up?
because he was
I feel like
scared.
it's a big difference.
Also, it was the first time in the movies and the books I had written that I realized that word is diagonally, and she just split it up to Diagon Alley for no reason. I was like, oh, that's really clever. And then I was like, is it clever? I don't know, J.K. Rowling. I don't know. Harry, of course, pops set up in some weird, strange museum with dehydrated skulls and arms and shit.
Hold on.
And then, what's up?
Getting a phone call.
Okay.
From?
Hello?
Oh, God.
You might want to.
How are you doing, Professor McGonagall?
I am excellent, children. How are you?
We're doing good.
I didn't know the Wizards world had cell phones.
I'm calling from a very public place on the streets of San Francisco.
Great.
And I'm yelling.
Okay. She's in San Francisco.
Great.
Whoa, celebrity.
Of course I am, Andy. Don't be an idiot.
She's everywhere, Andy. Everywhere,
Hang
fucker.
up.
I've come to award the points. Now that you've come to the end of the show, I'm here to award the house.
We're 20 minutes in.
20
actually.
minutes into the show.
Very, very proud of you in this show. You've done great.
Who got it?
Thank you.
You got the points?
I am excited to announce 15 points to Ravenclaw.
Yeah, boy.
We're ahead.
Throw it
We're
up, Nick.
ahead,
Throw it
man.
up.
We're ahead. What's up?
Give me the Ravenclaw.
You mean
Now
this?
these Ravenclaw points were earned by a young child named Nick Scarpino.
Yeah.
Why?
Now, you may say, how did he earn these? He earned these points early in your show when he talked about the children's genitals exploding.
Just you in San Francisco screaming this on the street.
Now, I blend in very well here, yelling these on the street. Don't you worry. Now,
Do you think he's wearing the
other
costume?
He has a
thing,
spell on himself.
The other thing to note about our rankings is we're actually going to deduct 15 points from Kevin Dursley.
Kevin's not a house, but we'll allow it. We'll allow it.
It's Gryffindor. You all know it's
He
Gryffindor.
loses 15 points. He loses 15 points because he still is not drinking from his Slytherin mug. He is still a slimy little Slytherin bitch who won't drink from
There we go. Took care of that problem. You know what I mean?
Sorry about that, Professor McGonagall.
Kevin, stop losing his points, man.
Damn, dude.
Drink out of your
He's gonna
Slytherin
come
cup.
back and
These
just take more
Slytherins are
points
falling
away.
behind, man.
No.
It's
Ravenclaw's
Gryffindor that just
crushing.
lost points. It's Gryffindor that just
Slytherin.
lost points. This isn't funny.
Man,
you
it
get
sucks
to,
for you
I
guys.
hate you guys.
Back to the plot.
Back to the plot. Harry pops out of Nocturne Alley, where people start immediately fucking with him. But thank God Hagrid's
Scary.
there. Hagrid brings him back over to the bookstore, where Gilderoy Lockhart is played by Kenneth Branagh, is doing a book signing of his work. He is very, very full of himself. But I'll tell you what, Mrs. Weasley is buying everything this guy has
Smitten
to
like a
sell.
kitten.
She is thirsty. It's dry out there, ladies and
Christ.
gentlemen, and I need a drink of a little blonde
Kevin looked
man.
at me like he wanted to say something.
I was just curious. What do you think they were gonna do with him?
I was really scared for
Yeah,
him.
right? Because like
something was gonna happen.
Yeah, something bad.
Very, really bad.
Like he was not gonna be the same after.
Yeah.
Thank God Hagrid was there.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
they were,
Hagrid
yeah,
doing?
they were gonna do some bad shit.
Well, what's Hagrid doing
was
there?
getting- he was getting
Buying
the slug
drugs?
stuff.
Yeah,
No,
he was
well,
buying.
I think he says that afterwards.
No, after he takes Harry out, he's like he was buying a flesh-eating slug repellent
Repellent, yeah.
because
For the
they were fucking with the school's crops, and then later he uses them for the
Yeah.
mandrakes.
Yeah.
How convenient, Hagrid.
Right? Right?
It's a little
Don't
too
believe it.
convenient
Yeah.
for me.
Hagrid's back. I mean, look at. Maybe there's like a peep show back there that Hagrid wants to get
Also,
off with his big giant peep.
Barrett, you know the answer. What was the name of the place that he went into?
Where he went into Borgin and Burke's.
Right.
Imagine
So
how hairy
it's
it would
not
be.
Diagon Alley. So
No, it's Nocturne Alley.
It's Nocturnal.
I don't know why he went.
That doesn't make
there.
any sense.
Well, he went diagonally. So maybe there's just a
It's
straight.
that-
line.
I think like the flu powder just like didn't understand it, understand what he said. So
It's
he
like when
just,
you talk to Siri, it's just like,
Yeah, it's like oh, this is
go
what-
to
How tall is
go
Brad
to
Pitt? Here was what I
Whataburger.
found
it's like
about
close enough.
And it's
tall
like-
pits.
And here's diagonally, and it's like, should I send him to Diagon Alley or Nocturne Alley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send him to
Sure.
Nocturne.
Weird.
I mean, Siri's not perfect yet.
Magic,
Neither is
dude.
Flu.
Yeah.
They take him to the bookstore, yada yada. We meet Gilderoy Lockhart, who takes a picture with Harry Potter because he realizes Harry's a star celebrity, and it'll be good for his book sales of his copy or his book Magical Me. Of course, we also run into the
Magical
Weasley.
Me. Great name.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Is that
Fuck
where?
this
I mean,
guy in the best
I'm going
way.
to disagree with you guys here. I think Kenneth Branagh fucking nailed this.
I think he nailed
I think
it
he was
too. I
great.
think he has that like Prince Charming kind of look to him. You know
Just
what I
full
mean?
of shit.
But like a King Charming though, like that's
Yeah,
the
but
problem.
that- but
he
that's the
nailed
thing.
it. I thought he was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
But like, he just doesn't have the look.
Yeah.
I think he's got that look.
I don't think
But
he has the
like,
look.
It's not a young
Tim,
man.
In,
This
in the
is-
magical world,
Yeah.
you don't have to be great looking. You have to be good at magic.
You're right. You're right.
You see what I'm
But
saying?
that's not why the
But
little girls
also,
are fawning
it is
over
the
him.
UK.
Tight jeans. He was wearing some tight jeans. Girls love tight jeans. Young girls love tight jeans. Always.
Like the
Quote
little
me on
girls love Jonathan
Always.
Taylor Thomas and Backstreet Boys.
this. JTT.
Yeah, but you tell me George Clooney walks in and little girls are not going to be all over him?
I don't think so.
No.
Nah, man, they're going to be all over him.
They would if you wore tight jeans. We already
Yeah.
established that 5
God
seconds ago.
damn it.
Going back into it, of
Lauren
course.
Lanning walks in, everyone's drooling. That's a fact.
It's just
I've seen it happen so many
That's
times.
true, yeah.
Lucius Malfoy is there too, and he's just a complete dick to the Weasley family. They talk a lot of shit there. We kind of this is where we start getting a lot of grumblings of the purist wizard community, where we get to the Malfoys are purists.
This is where we
and
learn
get
about
their-
Muggles.
We learn about Muggles here, right? And yeah,
Did
calls
you
her
see
Muggle.
Hermione's parents in the background like, oh.
Which I always thought that was
Yeah.
awesome.
That's so cool.
Because they look back there and they're like just dentists or whatever. They're
Yeah.
like, this is
Just
fucking
dentists.
terrifying. Hopefully no
Meanwhile-
one turns us into slugs.
Ron's dad is like trying to get as much info out of them as possible. Like, so rubber ducks, what's up with that shit?
I love that.
What do you
They're like, this dude's weird as shit.
Yeah.
Come over to our house. We'll have you over for pie. There's a quick thing that Lucius Malfoy does here too, where he actually does put the book in Ginny's cauldron.
He
You notice
picks
that?
up her used book, looks at it, insults them, and then when he puts it back,
And when he
there's
puts it back,
there's two books.
There's 2 books in there.
Whoa,
Very, very
surprise,
subtle.
magic, Jordan.
bitch.
Water
That
from
is
wine.
magic.
Yeah.
Onward and
It's not a
upward.
hand.
Over to platform 9 3/4.
Before we do
Everyone-
that, there's the badass line of Lucius Malfoy where it's like, let us hope Mr. Potter will always be around to save the day. And Harry Potter goes, don't worry, I will be.
echoed at the end of the movie as well.
Both those lines improvised.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a couple weird things here. So when Draco says, I didn't know you could read to Harry, who appeared like Goyle with
Yeah.
the polyjuice potion,
Yeah.
it was improvised because Tom Felton forgot his line. And then what I just said about the Lucius line and the Harry line. those
Yeah, I don't
improvised.
think that's said until the very end of the movie, though. I don't think they say that in this scene.
Yeah, I don't think
See,
it's
it's
here.
going
It is at the end of the movie. I wrote a note that he says, "Let us hope Mr. Potter's always
Yeah.
here," and he's like, "Don't worry, I will be."
Could be fair.
I would
Could be
fucking
true.
backhand slap the shit out of that kid, man.
Great hair though.
Draco?
Yeah.
Great
Great
hairline.
hair.
I want to
I
make
hate
a
his
Draco.
hair.
He's
hairline,
he's
I love
That'd be a
fucking
good idea.
Draco's absolutely team pup insides, dude. I mean,
Oh,
team
yeah.
X-Blades.
Yes.
X-Blades.
100%.
You guys are
Without a
mixing a lot
doubt.
of franchises here, and it's confusing me. So I'm just going to keep going on with the plot. Onward to platform 9 3/4. Everyone runs through, but when Harry and Ron try to do, they smash and pretty much murder Hedwig on this one. You see that fucking point? I was like, "What? No, I'm done. This was the final straw."
That looked
You kept me
really
in a cage.
painful.
It was terrible. So they're like, "Shit, we're gonna miss the train." We don't know what's going on. I love that there's a little subtle nod to the guy that was the train attendant in the first one.
Who was just
He's there,
a
he's like,
prick.
"The fuck are you guys doing?
Still
What are
a
you
prick
doing
this time.
Yeah, but imagine it from his perspective. He just saw a bunch of kids run into a wall, and he's like, "What kind of bath salts are you two fucking idiots on right now? That you gotta? And why are you dressed like this? Why is no one asking these questions? Why are you wearing capes? Why do you have an owl?
Anybody?
Why do you have matching scarves?
I don't think
They
they're wearing capes
were
at that
wearing
point.
their very normal clothes.
They were
at
wearing
this
normal
point.
clothes. They change on the train.
Yeah.
No,
Why do you have
but
an owl?
they were
Why do you have an owl?
You got him that fucking time.
they were using their
Are you
magic
having a
to
laugh?
make everything invisible.
You're having a laugh.
So they're just naked.
Forget everything you
Couple
know,
naked
Kevin.
kids?
Forget everything you know.
You do
So
your
there-
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, I was doing Ricky Gervais. So their solution to this, instead of just waiting and maybe taking the second train or whatever, or maybe again using the Flu Network and asking if they could just go, is to steal Dad's magic car and fly around. What's up?
No, go ahead.
I know you can't do that, but you could get permission.
Can
to do
you
it.
though? I was gonna say
You can't.
you can't.
I don't think you can flu
I
or
don't-
operate in and out of Hogwarts.
You
but might
can't
be able to
operate.
flu.
I think you might be able to use the Flu Network.
Maybe.
I think so.
Barrett can look that
This
up.
is some straight up
Yes,
like
you can.
fucking like your parents leaving you home for Christmas, Home Alone.
This
Right?
is also what I
It's
love
Home
about
Alone
this.
by the director of Home Alone. Whoa!
Bum, 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 John Williams. Yeah, John Williams.
ladies and gentlemen.
Let's just drop parallels.
Not to say too much for future spoilers, but yes, you can use the Flu Network in and out of Hogwarts, but you cannot apparate in and out of
That's
Hogwarts.
what I. Okay.
A
that makes
funny
sense.
thing going off that, Nick, the John Williams universe. Some of the music used during the Quidditch match was the same music used during the speeder chase in Star Wars 2: Attack of the Clones.
That's
John
awesome.
Williams did the score for both films and apparently figured he could reuse some of his beats.
Didn't even notice it.
I'm fine with it, man.
Yeah.
They could have just scored this whole thing with the Star
He's
Wars
like, I just
theme.
picture him
would've
like
been okay
scrolling,
with it.
like scrolling through his hard
I
drive,
got
like
this.
I could fuck with this one, I guess.
I feel like
Tweak
he's
it.
sitting there writing new music, the rights, and then he's just like, wait a minute, I
same
know
shit,
this
yeah.
one. Yeah.
So of course they steal the car. They steal Mom and Dad's car, mostly because you get that they like driving this fucking thing. Catch up with the train. The train almost kills them, but it's fine. They decide instead of getting on the train, they're just gonna fly all the way to Hogwarts, which is cool. And we get the great scene. The first time we see Hogwarts is them flying over the Great Lake
It's tight.
in the car, and it kind of comes up, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful scene. Of course, they land in the middle of the Whomping Willow, which is a tree that you'd think super dangerous to have on here. But again, Wizarding World doesn't give a fuck if kids die.
Yeah.
This
Couldn't
is
give a shit.
this
Yep.
is
Some real
Darwinism
stuff.
at its best
Yep.
here. You're gonna get close to the tree, it's gonna kill you.
And then they get like
gonna
kind
get
of in
whomped.
trouble because they're like, oh, and they hurt the tree. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's a dangerous tree. Like, really, the tree hurt us.
I'm just like flabbergasted that you all talk so much shit about the Ents in Lord of the Rings. It's like it's a moving tree too.
Yeah, but it's not walking. You know what I mean? He's just chilling there. And also, there might be more story there. You just keep watching these movies.
yeah, keep
alright?
watching the movies, bro. Because
Just
unlike the ends that come out of nowhere and then don't do anything.
Complaining about long fantasy movies. I just,
Remember? They spent literally 12 hours talking. And then he's like, oh, so did they make a decision? It's like, no, they just finished introducing themselves. You remember that line?
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. So they what I love about this
Gotcha,
also
bitch.
is that the once the car's free, it just straight up kicks them out and then pieces out into the dark forest. Which I love. You're like, where
Yeah.
you going? You go to a party? Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, I got shit to do. Get the fuck out. I
What
got
if-
friends in the dark forest, other cars that we're gonna party. Maybe it's gonna be a car orgy.
Oh, God.
Orgy.
like Randy's parents are gone. We're gonna
we're going to Ray's house.
Meet up with the
Somebody brought
Chevrolet
Cheetos.
cars. Not Chevrolet,
It always
Chevron.
pissed me off that, like, when they started flying, they just stole in the car, it took them, like, 30 seconds to be like, oh, let's turn on the invisibility thing. It's like, come on, guys.
This
forget
is,
what you know, Kevin.
Yeah.
hey, but, you know, they don't know. They
No,
don't
well,
know. They're
in
kids.
the books, they get in trouble because they have to.
They get in trouble here as well. Because they've been seen by no less than
Oh,
7
you're
people.
right. You're right.
They get in trouble.
Howler.
The damage, they did a lot of damage to the Whomping Willow. And of course, Ron has that great line where he's like, to be fair, I think he did more damage to us than we did to him. And then again, Professor McGonagall, Mama's got to make that fucking second
Yeah,
house
dude, that
payment.
Gryffindor money, man.
I'm going to get you out of this. You're just going to get away with attention. We're writing to your parents as well, which is, for me, would be a fate worse than death. Worse than death. They get out of it back. Let's see. How the fuck did I put that in there? Oh, we're in Mrs. Sprout's herbology class where we learn about mandrakes. And guess what? Mandrakes can do a lot of things. Their cries will kill you, but if used correctly when they're fully mature, they can get people out of petrification state. Important
It's
for
gonna be
later.
useful. It's gonna be
Thankfully,
useful.
because
Write that
lots of
one
people
down.
get petrified in this movie. Back in the Great Hall, Ron. Oh, by the way, at some point, Ron's wand broke as well. In this,
was in the tree, right?
Was it in the tree? Yeah, he
Yeah.
like snapped his wand, and of course they're too poor to get him another wand, so he just tapes his wand. What could
It
possibly
doesn't
go wrong
work.
with that? We also get introduced to the dumbest character in this whole series, Colin Creevy, who I just want to just take and throw out a window.
The guy that's like half the age of everyone else?
Yeah, he's like a
camera?
freshman.
He's a freshman.
Well, you know,
He's a
like remember in
first
high
year.
school where you were a freshman and you were just a little kid, and then you came back as a sophomore, and like everything was just the man.
Would you be surprised
You're
that
just
James
fucking
Burke
man.
was that kid?
Oh, no,
In
no.
ninth grade, he was
Not at
a
all.
hipsqueak. Like he was like Barrett sized. Like it was weird.
Yeah, growth spurt. Pop,
Fuck you.
just pops of hair popping up everywhere.
I thought you were
Bottom
gonna
of
say
your
you hated the dude with like that giant chin. The kid with the giant chin.
No, dude, that's just a
Kid with
British
a
guy.
giant
Don't be a
chin?
dick.
Yeah, the one who's like,
Don't be a dick to
just
British people.
Well, you know, when the snake, when Harry's like talking to the fucking cobra, and he's
I think it was Justin is the kid's name.
That
Justin.
kid.
What are you playing at? Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Having a laugh?
Yeah.
Having a laugh? Of course, Ron gets a howler in this one, opens it up, and it just starts yelling at him, which is great. Then we get to the defense against the dark arts, and this is where we start getting the sense that Gilderoy Lockhart is completely full of shit. He unleashes a group of Cornish pixels. Pixies, excuse me. I put pixies. Actually, no, I didn't.
Yeah, you
my
wrote
eyes are just blurred right now. He lets them out, and they start terrorizing the class. And he goes, you know what? You guys can take care of this. I got some shit I got to do up in my office. And Neville gets put on the thing, and then
Why is it always me?
yeah, I know. I love that line. He's like, why is it always me?
And then Hermione fucking saving the day.
Hermione uses
So
Immobulus, and it just immobilizes all of them, and the little pixies are just floating out in space.
And then they murder them.
And then they just eat their fucking heads. What I would do is I'd grab one of them and I'd stare at the other ones, and then I would just attack on Titan it.
It's scary.
Never
You look
fuck with us
exactly
again.
like a Titan.
All right. We move on to a Slytherin versus Gryffindor Quidditch match. Where we square. The guys are about to go. Oh, excuse me, not a match. They're going to go do a special practice that Professor McGonagall has authorized for them. Again, just proving that if you're good at Quidditch, you do not have to study. You don't have to do anything. It is college football at its best.
It's college sports,
and
yeah,
it's
for
great.
sure.
Of course, they get interrupted by the Slytherin team, who's also got a note from Snape because they have to train their new. Excuse me, Jesus, I gotta slow down a little bit. They have to train their new Seeker, who is Malfoy.
Draco.
Let
And
me just
also,
say the
they
dude
got
with-
the Nimbus 2001s.
I love that.
That's
I
bullshit.
love that so
And they
much. I
all
was like,
have
get
'em.
fucked, Gryffindor.
The dude with the fucking teeth.
Yeah.
The worst ADR. Like, holy
Flint
shit.
Marcus.
It could have just been.
Marcus Flint.
It just felt like a different human being was talking every time he opened his mouth. I was like, this is terrible, man.
Malfoy, of course, insults Hermione by calling her a mudblood, which is a very, very derogatory term towards a woman who is not from a wizarding family. Ron tries to come to her to aid, but his wand backfires and he ends up eating slugs,
He's
which is fucking
vomiting
gross.
slugs.
Horrible,
Dude. Yeah.
horrible.
I'd be crying. I mean, when is
Yeah,
this going to
man.
end? You know?
Colin Creevy, of course, tries to get a picture of this, and everyone's like, get the fuck out of here,
Yeah.
you little shit. Get out of here. You get petrified later? Do you think they were like, oh, we forgot to unpetrify Colin? And they just put him on a fucking train to Abu Dhabi.
He's just a little
Abu Dhabi?
kid.
Yeah, like Garfield used to put Odie on a fucking,
Yeah.
try to mail him to Abu Dhabi. That's what they should
I guess I don't know a lot about the
Yeah,
Garfield lore.
Garfield review coming soon.
It's always Abu Dhabi. They take Ron to Hagrid, and Hagrid's like, he's just got to barf him out. Yeah, that's what he's got to do, apparently. And they talk about the significance of the term mudblood, which is just a really, really fucked up thing. And we learn, again, a little bit more about the divide between the wizards. It's like, listen, Harry, not all wizards are, like, nice. Some wizards want wizard purity, which is ridiculous because there's not a witch or wizard on the planet right now that's not from some level of mixed, like, wizard or non-wizard. And also he gives Hermione a really, really nice little like nod. He's like, she can do spells better than anyone of them. Doesn't fucking matter anyway. None of it matters. It's just a stupid, unfair bias that these people have. Let's see. Oh. Here we go.
Getting surprised by your own nuts.
Well, I'm trying to do them in groupings, and I just go with my lines. Harry, of course, starts serving detention with Lockhart, where he's doing all his fan mail. And again, another great scene with Kenneth Branagh. He was like, doesn't time fly when we're having fun? Oh, it's been just a shy under 4 hours. Harry starts hearing, of course, the voice that tells him to kill, kill, kill. And it sounds a lot like a snake's voice, very, very slithery.
It does.
Which is great. You don't get that right off the bat, but you eventually figure it the fuck out. He runs around the corner into Ron and Hermione. He's like, did you hear that voice? And they're like, no. And I think it's going to kill someone. They go, of course, to the adjacent hallway where they find Mrs. Norris petrified, hanging upside down, and a bunch of spiders and a bunch of water everywhere. And then, for some reason, the entire school rounds the corner. Just everyone at Hogwarts is like, oh, we were on a field trip. We just came back, and now you're here.
Yeah, and I these are the parts that I hate, where it's just like, Harry, you did this, and it happens again later.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
No.
Like,
I
I mean,
it's
Harry
so
keeps
hard
finding
to
the-
suspend that
the
disbelief,
next-
especially in the scene that cool.
But I like this
the
because
blood on the wall, that's what I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, this
there
is
was-
fucking tight.
They explain it better in the books of why they think it's him, but again,
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
Well, but in this scene, remember, like, Snape's like, I'll be honest with you, like, everyone's like, was it Harry? And Snape's like, I just think they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And for Snape to say that is like,
It's a big deal.
These kids didn't do this. Like,
But a lot of
something
people
else
thought
happened.
they did.
I feel like
They think it later because Harry gets
Yeah.
caught again. That's when they start.
and
he
he's
gets
like
caught just.
holding the kid too.
Yeah, he gets
literally
caught
touching
over
the
the kid. He's like,
yeah.
like Like maybe here's the thing. Again, you're around the corner. You're down in Soma. You see a dead person.
Walk the other way.
Don't fucking scoop him up and cry over him. Just be like
Or you're a magician. You're a goddamn street magician.
First off,
you can be like, I know how to save you. Hermione's
wizard.
right here.
That's true.
I'm here. I'm gonna like
They don't-
decide how
there's
dead
no way
he
to
is.
save them.
this is a hardcore petrification though.
Except there is.
Okay.
No?
They were saved.
It takes months for them to. Why couldn't they buy just grown mandrake
You gotta
roots?
grow those fuckers. You can't
Well,
just buy
yeah,
mandrake.
I'm
you can't go
sure
to the
you
Home
can't.
Depot and get fully grown
I'm
mandrake.
sure that they have their wizard of
From here
equivalent
on
of
out,
the
can we
Home
call them
Depot.
John Drakes?
Oh, I was gonna
Thank
say
you.
the Gnome
Yes,
Depot.
we can call them John Drakes from now on. That's great.
Thanks, guys.
We're in Professor McGonagall's class, and Ron tries to use his wand, and it just sucks. It backfires on him.
Why
It
does
doesn't
he
work
keep
that
trying to use it?
Because he's the
He's
poor kid,
garbage,
and it
dude.
sucks.
He fucking sucks.
sucks.
Well, no, I mean this time it's his wand is all fucked.
Yeah, but then with the
Why is it
fucking
fucked?
when they're in the sewers, he's like, Harry, like shut the fuck up, dude.
What?
Jesus Christ,
Uh,
man.
When
He's
did
a
he
little
do that
bitch.
in the sewers?
I apologize. I
bitch.
said there was no blood on the wall. You're absolutely right. The blood on the wall said in the prior scene said the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware.
Fuck.
Like the coolest
Such a
fucking
cool
message
quote.
they could possibly have on a wall written in blood.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Amazing. Of course, in Professor McGonagall's class, Hermione asks her what the Chamber of Secrets is. And I love this because instead of just being like, don't ask questions like that, McGonagall's like, oh, I'll tell you everything you need to know about this horrible, horrible thing. Salazar Slytherin, back in the day, he was a shithead. And
Total racist.
Yeah, super racist. And before leaving the school, basically he wanted to make the school this place where only purebloods could come.
I
and
love
he
that
wanted
we're
to be-
introduced to like the white nationalists. of
Yeah,
the
he wanted to
world.
be
Make it great
basically
again.
Yeah, well, he wanted to make it a place where there's a lot more quote unquote selective about who they let in. Of course, the other founders, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff were like, "Fuck you, dude, get out." He bounced, but before doing that, legend has it that he made a secret chamber that no one's ever been able to find, called the Chamber of Secrets. Down there, a lot of socks, a lot of house elves, a lot of crazy shit happens.
Oh my god.
Do you know what he did afterwards?
Dobby?
No. What?
Salazar.
No, I mean yeah, Salazar.
I don't know.
He
What did he
goes
do?
off and meets up with Durstrom and starts Durstrom School, where
Yeah, I
they
did not
were
know
a
that.
lot more selective.
Was that the Russian school?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
The chamber is said to be home to something only the true heir of Slytherin can control, a monster. But no one's ever been able to find that. Who's the true heir of Slytherin? They start asking. It's got to be Malfoy, right? Because this kid is just blonde and white as the fucking driven snow.
Yeah.
And that just fits the mold perfectly for what
It was
Salazar
just
Slytherin
magical
wanted.
purity.
And
That's
also
what
he's
he
never
was
done-
racial. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but casting wise, and she wrote that for a reason because I think she wanted to harken it back to like Nazis. and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that.
sure.
Of course.
He's also never said one thing like nice to anybody. So-
He also was a giant piece of
Yeah.
shit kid from a
Yeah,
shitty
he's
family.
giant piece of shit.
So maybe we can trick Malfoy into telling us. And I have the perfect thing. Hermione just read about this thing called Polyjuice Potion, and they're like, "This sounds great. How long will this take?" She goes, "It's gonna take a month to brew." And they're like, "Damn." At that point, I'd be like, "Oh, just go ask him. Let's just go like
Let's
corner
go bully him.
Here's what you do: you pin him down." You hit him in the nuts a couple times. You go, if you don't want to be hitting the nuts again, you tell us, are you the fucking
The
true heir?
old
And I'd be
nut
like,
tap.
Pata! And you go, and I'd be like, please stop hitting me in the nuts. It's Quidditch time, ladies and gentlemen. It's Gryffindor versus Slytherin, which means it is Malfoy versus Harry Potter. And Gryffindor not doing so well. They're down 30-90. All of a sudden, a rogue bludger goes after Harry, but Harry not to be thrown off the track. Sees the snitch, goes after it. This is a cool little scene here where he's going underneath the rafters, and this bludger is fucking destroying everything. But don't worry, Tim. They got Expecto Reparo.
Reparo.
It'll just repair everything.
I will say that the CG was a marked improvement over
Way better.
over
Well,
the last movie.
Well, I do think it's
Which is
because
weird, 'cause
it
it was
wasn't
cheaper.
actual like animated characters. It was like real people
actual
with just a
people.
lot of blur effects.
So it looked a lot
on them,
better,
yeah.
and I liked the choreography a lot more of going through the
It's
thing
cool.
and like the chase scene. Like there was actual tension there. Like it felt like there was real people, which was nice.
And
Yeah.
stakes and shit like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And you get. I think it's also heightened by the fact that it's him and Malfoy, which was smart because they have that rivalry going on, and it was carried over to the Quidditch pitch, which is cool. Of course,
But
yeah,
Hermione, she's ready to cast fucking spells and like move the bludger or whatever the hell, right?
yeah.
Is nothing sacred? Quidditch. You just be in the stand just casting fucking spells.
Again,
like,
we've
part of the
already
game. That's
established
part of the game.
that people are betting on Quidditch.
Yeah.
The kids are having a big problem because they're not getting paid to play Quidditch, even though they're fucking
Kids' lives are at stake.
professors.
But reminder-
the professors are all making money off of this. People are died playing Quidditch.
No one actually shoots spells from the stands. Like Ron is like, I'll stop it, and she's like, no, you're an idiot. Like you, even if your wand worked, it probably wouldn't.
You might
hit
hit
the bludger.
Harry.
miss,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You don't know
And
what you're
then
doing.
she
This is
doesn't
too hard.
do the spell until they're actually on the field, and
Yeah.
she like blows up the bludger.
and then everyone celebrates. But it's
Well,
just
because
like
the
the
bludger was
bludger's
broke.
Well, they all
but it's part
figured
of
out
the
the-
game, right?
Yeah.
Like the bludger's gold.
no, somebody
but
caused the bludger.
Somebody
Yeah.
enchanted the bludger.
there was- it
It's not
shouldn't be
supposed to
Cancel
chase
the
after
game.
you.
Stop, guys.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Again, people in the Harry Potter world love seeing kids get tortured. McGonagall's just back there like,
one of the
"Oh,
linebackers in this NFL game has 3 knives on him, and he's like stabbing people.
It's like the scene, it's like the beginning
Stop
of
the game.
The beginning of Last Boy Scout when the guy's running, he just pulls a gun out and starts shooting the defensive line.
Yeah,
That's a reference for
that's
you
what I'm
guys. You
saying.
guys
Yeah.
understand. Harry, not to be dissuaded, goes after the snitches and grabs it last minute. Boom, we won. Looks up. Bludger starts fucking just pounding down on him, right?
terrifying.
That's when Hermione comes. Before that, of course,
Broken
Harry's
arm also.
gets a broken arm. The Bludger gets destroyed by Hermione, and everyone cheers. And then Gilderoy Lockhart's like, I'll come over and fix your arm. And Harry's like, nope, anyone but you.
Yep, don't do it.
And
Don't
at this
do
point,
it.
I'd be like, just get away from me.
Yep.
Because you're a piece of shit. Get away from me. But Harry's too nice to say that. Of course, Lockhart tries and then fixes the arm by taking all the bones out of the arm. And
God.
man, I was eating during this
That
scene.
was a
I'm like,
disturbing
"Oh!"
scene. Hard to see that.
Bends his arm all the way back. It's like, well, you're not in pain, and that's true. Then
It
we
was
go
going
to
to be all night.
we go back to the infirmary where Madame Pomfrey is pissed off because she's like, fixing bones is very easy. Regrowing them is a pain in the ass. You're in for a terrible night. And she gives him that cool like Skelegrow potion.
She also had plans that night, and like suddenly it's like, oh
She
fuck, now
was
this is my
going-
night.
Nah, she's
to
going to tie him down.
party. Her and the other nurses. Woo,
They're gonna
they
go
were
party
get
with the
some
cars
Quidditch
in the
pilots.
forest.
Yeah, they're gonna fucking party. What was this? Rusty's house? Rusty's parents are gone. It's a raging car party in the forest.
Nick, fun fact.
Yeah,
Is Skelegrow
yeah.
made by the Potters. That's how they made one of the potions that made them their fortune.
Oh, I did not know that. There you go. Of course, he gets visited again by Dobby, and we get it. Dobby has been he's the one that enchanted the bludger, and he's just trying to keep
Locked him out of
Harry
school,
away.
right,
Locked
too?
him out of school, did all that shit, and Harry's like, "Stop it, stop."
Stop, Dobby.
Dobby just wants him to be safe, and he's like, "Who do you work for? Who do you work for?" And Dobby's like, "I can't tell you who I work for because I had to iron my hands one time."
Oh, God.
and that was fucking terrible.
Poor little bastard just keeps beating himself.
And he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And Dobby has a great line because Dobby remembers what it was like before Mr. Potter, like Master Potter, vanquished the Dark Lord. It was fucking terrible, and I just don't want any of that stuff to come back up. And again, he's like, "Just fucking tell me what's going on." And then Dobby disappears because they bring in Colin Creevey, who has been petrified, and he's looking through his little camera lens. And when they go to look at the film, it goes poof, and Dumbledore's like, "Shit. That's not good. This film's definitely not supposed to just explode in your face. That's for Mission Impossible."
Dumbledore looks around and he just disappears. Like, no, fuck Dumbledore, come on, you're responsible for this.
They're worried about
Later.
the students because this is the kind of shit that happened the first time, and the Chamber of Secrets has definitely been opened. And oh no. Later, though, of course, the kids are brewing the Polyjuice potion up in the girls' bathroom, and he's like, Ron's like, "Is this a smart thing to do? Because it's not a good look for 2 boys to be caught
It's
in
just
the
their
girls'
meeting
bathroom."
place. They're just like, hey, you know what?
But they immediately
Ron's gonna
explain
hang
it.
out.
They
Oh, it's the
immediately
Chamber
are
of
like-
Secrets.
No.
No.
It's Moaning Myrtle.
convenient.
Yeah, Moaning Myrtle's
Moaning
right
Myrtle's
here.
there, and nobody likes
no
that
one
because
fucks
she's
in
there.
here, or no one fucks around in here because Moaning Myrtle just won't let you take a shit in peace.
She won't.
This
Like,
little
imagine-
girl,
Can't sit
this
down
girl
to
who's
take a
40 years
crack.
old.
Yeah.
Imagine this, everyone. I want you to close your eyes. Everyone close your
Did
eyes.
you know right away that she was 40?
The actress looks like she's
You're not-
way older than
I was
everyone-
shocked when I
eyes are
found out
closed.
she's
Tim's
like
closing
a
it. Here's what I want you
full-
guys to realize. Here's what I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Oh man,
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Hold his hand, Andy. Andy, hold his hand.
Andy, where's your hand?
Andy, hold his hand.
Oh,
Hold his hand.
no,
There you go.
gross. You're so cold.
It's been a real long day. You had burritos. You had chimichangas for lunch. Okay. It's about 4:00 and that thing hits. And you're near to this 3rd floor bathroom.
that thing.
And you go, you know what? I just got to take a massive.
yeah,
massive
you're
dump.
fillable.
I have got to fill that bowl
Yeah,
full of
peek out of the
candy.
water.
My
Full of
dumper's
brown
gonna
candy,
explode right
full
now.
of brown
Yep.
M&Ms.
Yep.
And you sit down and you get your book, you get your magical book out,
Sure,
and it's a
sure.
magazine, and it's a Us Weekly, and all the people are walking around in
Oh,
their
you're
bikinis.
gonna be
And you're like,
jerking
this
it
is gonna be
soon.
great. And it starts to peak, and who puts her stupid
starts
head?
to peak?
You start to crown.
You're creasing.
You
You're
start to
crowning.
crown. The baby starts to come out
Yeah, you know what I
into the
mean?
world.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
Dilating.
who's peeking her stupid, bespectacled face through the thing, through the
Moaning
door? Moaning Myrtle. Ah, Governor! Are you having a laugh? Oh, yeah. And it just goes right back up there and never comes out.
man.
Fucking sucks.
You're not
I
supposed
hate
to.
her.
You're not supposed to.
I
be able
get
to-
it.
supposed to be
It's
annoying.
just- but it's like it's just it takes me out of it where I'm just like I want to turn this off. I don't like it.
Well, and that's, of course, you're supposed to feel at the beginning.
She
and then
sounds
at
like
the
a
end when
horny
we get the
anime
payoff
girl.
that she is the one that died. I thought
yeah.
that was actually pretty cool. But we'll get there.
Yeah. I liked how that was all connected. Why is she there? Because that's where she died. Why did she die there? That's the entrance.
Because nobody liked her. Well, and again, we even in life she was annoying because everyone used to make fun of her.
Yeah.
And that's why she was crying in the bathroom. Bullying is a real
Why
thing.
did they pick a kid though?
She was a child.
No, she wasn't.
wasn't.
I mean, I looked up her age. She's 74 years old.
No,
It's
really,
fine.
it was like something crazy. Like she was
yeah,
like
yeah,
36 or
I
something.
don't know why. I don't know why they picked her. I liked her. You guys are all fucking monsters.
She looks like one of my old teachers, man.
We get a cool dueling
I was
scene.
shocked when I found out how she was. That
Dude,
legitimately
this
was.
dueling scene number 2, where I was like, oh shit, let's fucking
Let's
go.
go.
So cool. We have this little
Wands at the
platform
ready,
that's
baby.
a little, they get
Elevated.
up and do the, I'm like,
And they're in
hell
like,
yes.
cool dueling garb.
Like it's
like
a
what-
Pokemon
thing.
Stadium shit.
Let's go,
right?
dude.
He's wearing like a cape kind of,
Yeah,
but it's,
it's
like
cool.
it's over one shoulder.
yeah, I love
It
it.
looks
So
like
cool. It's
a
like a
like a
Matador's
fencing
cape.
outfit
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Snape versus Gilderoy Lockhart, and Gilderoy just gets his fucking ass
Snape
owned to him.
just beats the shit
And
out
then
of
they
him.
have the great idea that maybe they should teach some of the kids some disarming spells because some shit's been going down, and maybe it's a good idea to arm these kids with some defensive skills. So of course, it's Harry versus Malfoy, and Malfoy totally cheats and smacks Harry up, and then Harry gets up and just fucking owns him.
But again, though, teachers,
Yeah.
you know what? Let the kids fight.
But see,
Snape-
this is what we need
Yeah.
now. Okay, toughen these kids up by letting one of them die. Just let them die. You know what I mean?
Snape.
Harry Potter. Let's let this legendary dude that we're so stoked to be here. That's probably raising the money of the entire area around Hogwarts. And they're just like, let's put him up against the little shithead that's obviously a bad guy.
But
let him do whatever he wants.
But it's the rivalry everyone wants to see. You have to imagine these kids don't have much in the way of like stimulation in this fucking
This
place.
is Duke,
the
North
books, all
Carolina,
the
man.
paintings can see them. They can't. They're not out there they can't do drugs. All they have is a duel to the death.
Yeah.
Once a day.
You think the paintings
Yeah.
are snitching on them doing
Paintings
drugs?
are totally snitching. They're going to each other. They gossip all around.
Yeah, that's
little
true.
fuckers.
Wait, real quick. I just felt like the pairing was perfect. Like with the teachers not not reacting, just in the sense that like Snape is just like fucking hurt him, dude, and the other guy was like, no, hey, don't do that, but just no one respects him,
It's true.
Like he was like,
also, like,
no, only these spells, and everyone just ignored him.
But also remember this: there was a rogue bludger that got someone put a spell on that totally broke Harry's arm, and no one cared.
No
Everyone's like, it's just part. Hey, rub some dirt on it, buddy. Rub some dirt on it.
Figure it out.
Tough as fucking
Forget
nails these
everything you know.
wizards are.
Figured it.
Who cursed the bludgeon?
Who cares?
Yeah, well, it exploded, so there's no way to know.
blame
No way to know. Who's this little guy?
Last but certainly not least, of course, Malfoy shoots out a cobra snake at
It's
Harry.
so a weird move.
It's
A
fucking
weird
awesome.
move.
I mean, you'd freak out.
It was probably like a spell he had like saw or something and
Yeah.
didn't know what it
He's like,
did.
you know what would be badass?
Yeah.
He's like, the order that he learned different spells. He was like, Wingardium Leviosa. Now I want to make a snake. I want to summon a snake. And what was it that he said?
Serpent Sorpsia or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
That's
some-
Summon
fucking
is
cool.
something or other. I'm like, that's dope as fuck. Go for it,
Yeah, it was
man.
really cool.
Snake it
But
up.
again, a bad move to do. Like, here's a creature that, like, hopefully is gonna go to you.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you speak snake? That sucks.
And that's the point of this scene, of course, is that the snake looks over. I think the character's name is Justin, but I could be wrong. And it's like, I'm going to attack him. And then Harry goes, and everyone's like, oh, Harry's the fucking devil.
Yeah.
Harry is Beelzebub, is what he is.
I think it's weird that like he talks to the snake before the snake like goes after Justin, and in the next scene he's like, I only told the snake to like stop going after Justin. It's like, no,
it's
you
like,
were
yeah, that's
definitely
not what it
talking to
looked
the
like.
snake
That's not-
before the snake even looked at Justin.
Well, what's
fucking
cool about
Did
it
you
is
guys have
that Harry,
subtitles on when you
What's that?
watched it?
no.
Did you have subtitles?
No,
Did
did
you?
it say it?
Crazy shit. Yeah.
Did it really say
No,
what?
I'm not. I can't think of anything funny.
Fuck, you got us. You got us.
Now, I know this is Barrett's thing, but I just want to say, like, there is one small like line that was taken out from the book, like that, like they didn't include, where it was right before this all happens. That kid is talking about how he's a mudbug. Mudblood.
Mudblood.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
Blood.
it's a piece of shit.
No, not a what?
The kid
No,
was
no.
a piece of shit.
The kid is saying that his parents are.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Muggles.
Because everyone's going after the Mudbloods.
Yeah, and
That
he's
makes
like,
sense.
I'm worried. And he like tells Harry, and then immediately after, Harry talks to the snake, and he's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. I'm for
being
sure gonna
targeted.
die.
Of course, this
Another
is a-
moment of why people think that Harry is
Yeah.
the
Yes,
heir
because Salazar Slytherin was a parcel mouth, and he could talk
parcel
to snake.
tongue.
Partial tongue.
No,
yeah.
he's called a parcel mouth.
Yeah, he
They
got
speak
you.
The
Parcel
language is partial.
Oh,
Parcel.
there you go.
Tongue, yeah.
Excuse me. Had to look at that.
My bad.
'Cause I was
You
like,
nailed
what
it,
the fuck?
dude. You nailed him, is what I meant. Yeah.
Fucking nailed him to the
got
wall,
him.
man. You can't come after me.
Sorry,
It's Tuesday. This is bad because everyone's going to think
Mustard
you're
death.
the guy who's killing everyone, Harry. And this is why the next scene sucks so bad because Harry, again, walking the hallways a lot at night. At this point, I'd be like, I need everyone to walk with me.
Hey, Harry, you're on lockdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Harry, you're not going
allowed
out of
out of your room. We're watching you.
On the way back to the common room, finds nearly headless Nick and the kid that he had talked shit about. Or tried to
Stopped.
save from the snake. I think Justin is his name. He's petrified, and there's another trail of water and spiders, and Phil squeals on him this time. He's like, "You're gonna get it this time, kid. I'm gonna fucking."
But
put
also,
you in
he
the
was like grabbing his leg. It's like, bro, don't touch him. Like if you see a petrified, just raise your hands, back up, and start
Right.
yelling, "Hey, there's a body here!" You know.
They take him to Dumbledore's office, and they use the word sherbet lemon to get up there, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
We see all the posters from the past headmasters.
He likes candy a lot, and that's
Yeah.
always his password to go into his things. Different candies.
Yeah. Cool. There you go. We see all the past headmasters in the paintings, which is cool. And then of course we see the Sorting Hat, and Harry's like, "Yo, dude, you fuck up or what's
We
up?
good? What's up?
What's up?" He's like, "Oh, it would have been great. We would have been great as a Slytherin, Harry. Maybe you're a Slytherin. We don't know." We also get introduced to Fawkes, the Phoenix, who then bursts into flames and freaks the fuck out of Harry like he broke his bird. And he's like, "Oh, thank." And Dumbledore comes around. He's like, "No, he's a Phoenix. Phoenixes do that. They die and then they get reborn in the ash." A couple things about Phoenixes. We're just gonna put a couple throwaway lines in here for the end. One, they can carry a lot of weight, and two, their tears heal shit.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Just
not
FYI.
the best storytelling, JK.
definitely not.
definitely
But
not.
Love the look of this thing. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
I'd buy
You do?
this.
I hate the way it looks.
But I mean, it looks real. Like it looks like a.
Yeah, but like
I
when
love
it's
the
a little
practicality
baby coming
of
out
it.
of the ash, I was like, it looks all gross.
The practical Phoenix look a lot better than the practical fucking snake.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The cobra? You talking about the cobra?
Yeah, at the end.
The big old
basilisk.
basilisk?
Dumbledore, of course, is like, "Harry, you got some shit to tell me?" And Harry's like, "Nah, man, everything's cool. I'm definitely not going to sneak next into the Slytherin common room and try to fucking con another kid out of some secrets."
I
I'm good.
don't understand why he's not like, hey, you know what? So it turns out, like you may have heard, I speak snake, and I keep hearing things in the wall. I know that sounds weird. People are telling me that like that's still weird.
But I really respect you.
Yeah.
And it seems like
Maybe I should tell you these things.
But then we wouldn't get the next cool, fun scene where they have to steal hair from people via floating cupcakes, and then they make the polyjuice potion. And Hermione's like, "I already have my hair. I got it from this girl's robe. What could possibly go wrong with this one?" They make the polyjuice potion, and something goes wrong. And Hermione's like, I can't do this. I can't go with you guys. You guys have to go alone."
one of them cat people.
They meet up with Malfoy, who takes them to the dopest common room on the fucking planet. I'm just gonna say this: if I was a Gryffindor and I went to the Slytherin common room, I was like, "Wait, they get all this nice natural slate walls and like this cool like subterranean feel. Like this is the party common."
They have
room."
iPads.
What the fuck? They have the internet? Yeah, this is crazy.
I mean, that makes sense because like Malfoys, I'm sure, are giving more money to.
Sure, yeah, you got that big
you know?
super pack money.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is. Malfoy, of course, is not the heir. He's like, "I don't know who it is, but whatever. I've told you that yesterday."
But I want to shake his hand.
I like this scene. I like Harry doing the crab voice and all that, and yada yada yada. Of course, they start to turn back. They start freaking out. They run out. They meet back up with Hermione, and yes, it was in fact cat hair, and she is a cat. And nobody asked questions as to why she turned herself into a cat. It's just going to take a couple weeks to get that out of her. So the boys are on their own for a little bit.
I appreciated the reveal. Because that was one of those things where I was like, when they first showed her with the hair, I'm like, that was a little too easy. And when that happened, when she all freaking out, she's like, I can't come out. I'm like, what are they going to do here? Didn't expect a cat.
Cat.
Liked that. Hubris, Hermione.
Hubris, Hermione. This next part, Harry finds the bathroom flooding. Goes back up to the Moaning Myrtle bathroom and finds the diary. This is the first time he sees that. Looks in the back and it says Tom Mulvolo Riddle. Marvolo. Sorry, thank you.
Close enough.
Marvolo Riddle on the back. Takes it back to the common room, opens it up, nothing's in there, and then he puts a little dollop of ink in it, and it disappears, and he gets the bright idea, hey, maybe if I write in this thing, it'll talk back to me, and he does. He goes, my name's Harry Potter. He's like, hey, Harry Potter, nice to meet you. You ever taken a shit in the third floor bathroom? Man, that Myrtle's terrible. She'll make that thing go right back up into your lower intestine. It says, hey, man, can you tell me anything like... He's like, what's your name? He's like, my name's Harry Potter. He goes, my name's Tom Riddle. And he goes, can you tell me anything
Tom
about
Riddle? There's no possible way there's some riddle involved with
Exactly.
this.
There's no way there's more to unpack in this one.
No.
He asks about the Chamber of Secrets. And then he says, yeah, I know about it. And he's like, can you tell me about it? He goes, I can't tell you, but I can show you.
It's like, whoa.
Harry gets sucked back into a really cool flashback. And I like the style here because Harry's the only thing in color and everything else is like a sepia tone, which is really cool. We meet Tom Riddle and he's young and Dumbledore does not like him. You can tell right off the bat, he's very suspicious of him. People have been, they're carrying out a girl's body. Someone has died because of the Chamber of Secrets. Tom is like, I think I know who it is. He's like, wait a minute. Are you telling me that because someone died, they're going to close the school down? I don't have any place else to go. I don't like my family. I don't want to go home. I can't have this. I know who the person did it. And he goes and he finds a young Hagrid, and Hagrid has something in a box. And then Tom tries to kill the thing in the box, and a giant fucking terrifying spider crawls out. And at this point, I'd be like, Hagrid, just
Just be cool with your
Stop
fantastic
with these
beasts,
things.
you know?
Stop with them. Of course, this is where we get a little bit of really sad backstory for Hagrid is that he was, in fact, a member. He was going to Hogwarts and then got kicked out because of this shit. And it's so sad. And then,
shouldn't have
you know what it is
a
now? He just
dog-sized
mows along.
spider. Like,
That was
regardless of it not being like, sure, it wasn't his fault. He got kicked out unjustly.
Sure.
But also, don't have a fucking dog-sized spider. Just don't. No reason to have that.
Been saying that since day one.
But also, now that his name is cleared at the end of this movie, like, why didn't they let him finish class?
He wasn't good. They were kind of just like, hey, just use
But
this.
like, give him a wand. Let him get a real wand. Why is he still using his goddamn umbrella? Like, I always feel bad for him.
Fun fact, the tip of his umbrella is like a little bit of his broken wand. No,
Unsubstantiated rumor, guy.
that's something from directly.
Unsubstantiated. He's
This is
fucking
when we get the great scene where we
Bear.
get the no. Why did they do that?
I don't know.
It was bad.
What
Yeah,
happened?
where he yells
Harry's
Hagrid.
just like Hagrid, no, and like it kind of like comes out and he's
Yeah.
like, this looks horrible and
Yeah.
also like weird as fuck.
This last time
But
we
then
had
Harry
this-
comes out of it and he's like, whoa.
Whoa.
It was very weird.
Well, he like gets out of it and he's like, oh, Hagrid's the bad guy.
So he goes to try to get Hagrid, and Hagrid's like, I'm too busy. I got this slug-eating potion that's
of
going to help
muggles
these
to kill.
the mandrakes. And when the mandrakes are fully, it's going to take a while, but they're almost fully mature. We'll chop them up and unpetrify people. We can't do that just yet because Harry has to solve the mystery, not the petrified people. Neville comes to get him. Someone has ransacked Harry's bed, and then they've stolen the diary back, so the diary's gone. Quidditch time, baby. They go out to do Quidditch, but guess what? It's been canceled. And then it's because, hey, Ron and Harry, come with me. Unfortunately, they take her to the infirmary. Take them to the infirmary, and Hermione has been petrified. And there's a scene
Why
here
is everybody so
where Harry touches her
petrified?
hand where the fucking heat is palpable. You can feel
I
it, baby.
didn't know.
Harry and Hermione,
No.
definitely going to be a thing.
No,
Harry and Hermione,
definitely
baby.
not.
As soon as it grows, they're going to start touching each other. It's going to be fantastic.
That's not the case.
Oh, you gotta love when he makes himself laugh.
There's new rules, of course. In effect, you can't leave the Gryffindor common room unless you are going to class. And guess what? If the culprit hasn't been caught, the school's probably gonna have to close, and they're gonna have to take Hagrid.
Will the school close? We'll have to find out in just a second. Did they close down Hogwarts, Nick?
They are getting close. The kids go to talk to Hagrid, and they start talking to him, but guess what? Professor Dumbledore and Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic himself, show up to take Hagrid away. Of course, Lucius Malfoy's there as well. The kids are wearing the cloak of invisibility, so no one knows they're there, but somehow Dumbledore is just a fucking G and totally understands that the kids are there. He figures it out. As they're being taken away, he goes, you know what? He says this kind of out loud, but then kind of looks over the guy and says, help will always be given in Hogwarts to those who ask for it, and then looks directly at Harry. Harry's like, he can see me. And then
I'm talking to you, Potter.
I'm talking to you. Are you talking to me? I have not. Hagrid, of course, is like, oh, that's a great idea. I will be subtle too. And just is like, hey, if anyone's looking for some stuff, all they have to do is follow the spiders. That's it. Just follow
Also,
the spiders.
feed my dog.
Also, yeah, don't forget, someone has to feed Fang while I'm away. So they take Fang with it, which I love. It's
That was really funny. That was really funny.
They, of course, follow the spiders into the Dark Forest, into a cave where they meet Aragog, who is now huge.
Fucking enormous.
Way
Car
bigger
sized.
than
Kill
that
it when it was dog sized.
Bigger than a car,
Way
man.
bigger than
Right?
that dumb spider from Lord of the Rings. Tell you
Fucking
that. Just bigger
terrifying.
muscles, more masculine, cooler voice. The whole thing.
Yes.
More legs.
Of course, Aragog's like, listen, I'm not the beast. We didn't open the chamber. Hagrid didn't open the chamber. The beast that's in there is something that's ancient, and us spiders are terrified of it. So it's not us. But guess what? We're going to eat you.
Yeah.
There
Hey,
you
remember
go.
the scary place you guys went? The Dark Forest from the last
Yeah.
movie?
Go deeper.
Follow spiders in it.
Yeah.
Just follow a lot of spiders,
deeper.
and then there's going to be bigger spiders, and then an even bigger spider. And then when you come out, there's going to be even more spiders.
I'm very.
Harry! Shut the
Yeah,
fuck
you're-
up,
yeah,
Ron!
you're-
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, man.
Hey, he's a broken wand. Like, I get why he's even
bitch,
more scared.
Don't come. Let Harry go himself.
I'm really stoked to hear Cool Greg's opinion about this movie and to see how much this affected him.
It didn't.
No?
He was cool with it.
Spiders?
He was like, he hates spiders.
Yeah.
I got the cool grade. As I was watching this, I was like, how the fuck are you okay with this?
Of course, last second, the car comes back in. It was done partying, or maybe it's on Molly. We don't know, because it comes right in, slams into a bunch of
Ready to
spiders.
fucking party.
They get in, and
Randy's parents are back.
Sorry, Randy's parents came back for a second. It helps them escape. Of course, they're being chased by a stampede of spiders, and as they get out of the forest, finally narrowly escaping death, they once again get kicked out of the car, and the car just pieces back out into the forest. I love it so much. Do we ever see the car
weird.
ever again? Who knows?
I think we do.
Who
right?
knows? I can't remember. They go to visit Hermione, and Harry touches her hand again. And man, it's fucking just
not like
sex
that.
wrapped up in a robe.
They're friends.
Is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
just friends.
Finds a crumpled up piece of paper in her hand. It has the definition of the basilisk. She, of course, figured out what was down there. We don't really know how.
Crazy
but it
that
doesn't
no
freaking
one.
matter.
I mean, she just did research. Smart girl.
She did research on things that, of course, petrify things. She didn't know what it was. And the ancient basilisk is known, if you look into its eyes, it petrifies you. It kills you, actually.
Yeah.
But if you don't, if you kind of indirectly see it, it petrifies you. And they go, wait, indirectly see it? How come, what happened? And they go through and go, oh, wait, Colin saw it through the lens. Justin must have seen it through the
Ghost.
The ghost, he saw it through nearly headless Nick. Mrs. Norris saw it through the reflection of the water because she was hanging up on the thing. So no one actually looked at this
Hermione
thing.
had the mirror.
Hermione, of course, that had the
Because
mirror.
she
they
already
didn't know
figured it
about.
out. She's a smart kid.
And this is one of those things where I'm like, all right, this is simultaneously the coolest and lamest thing I've ever fucking heard. Because it's like, oh, that's actually kind of tight with the like they have cool ideas for how they're gonna hide it, but also you figured this out. Like it just makes everything feels like such bullshit. Where I'm like, there's
She's
no
super
way.
Like they don't build it.
Ron.
No, I mean,
Ron and Harry.
They didn't figure shit out.
Yeah, they
Hermione
did.
had a paper that had all the information on there.
Listen, here's what it is.
It was literally
Here's-
like basilisk was circled, pipes was written on the bottom.
She wrote pipes on it.
Yeah.
They're like, how does it get around? She
What's
wrote
crazy
pipes.
is that no one was like, I should get some shit in her hand. Let's check it out.
Well, again,
You know?
no one's going as deep in that hand as
they
Harry
don't-
is.
Okay.
Harry's trying to get deep in that hand.
No.
I'm just saying, there's chemistry here,
There's
people.
no
They're
chemistry.
like 12 years old, dude.
They don't know it yet, but
That's hand job time.
that is hand job time. That's foot job and hand job time.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's not.
God, foot job's like, that's like a
Absolutely not.
way older thing.
It's too far. That's a bridge too far.
At least you know.
Yeah, I do that one. God. Let's see. And then they kind of figure it out, right? What if the girl 50 years ago who died in the bathroom never left the bathroom? It's moaning Myrtle. Professor McGonagall makes an announcement through the loudspeaker. Everyone go back to your rooms. A girl has been snatched by the monster, and that girl is Ginny Weasley. And they're like, oh shit, that's not good. They catch up with Professor Lockhart, but he is fucking bouncing. Man, he is a fraud. Because all the professors are like, Lockhart, you can go. You know, you were just bragging the other day. You know where the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets is. You can take care of this and go save Ginny. He's like, no problem. And he's like, I just got to prepare some stuff. And he is bouncing because he's a fraud. We find out.
I love that in the book after they like, oh, like you know what to do, like we'll trust it to you. And right after he leaves in the book,
They all talk
McGonagall is like, now that we have him out of the way, let's actually get shit
Yeah,
done.
that's good. That's good.
That's cool. Harry and Ron go to assist him, and they realize he's a fraud. He's packing all of his shit, and they're like, "You never did any of the shit that you claimed." And he's like, "Yeah, the only thing I'm really good at is memory charms. I've stolen every wizard's like work. I've taken credit for their work, and then it just basically erased their memories, which is really fucked up if you think
Really
about it.
fucked up,
Because there's a
'cause
lot of wizards out there that just have no idea what the fuck's going
It
on.
like erased their memory forever.
Yeah, can't bring them back.
But and like you see the way it affects people later.
He
not
of course tries to do this to them, but they're smart and they
Somehow-
figured it out and they put their wands on him. And then they kidnap him and take him up to the bathroom where they ask Myrtle, they're like, hey Myrtle, what's up? You were the dead girl that got carried out in that flashback that I saw. How did you die? She goes, well, I was up here because people were teasing me about my glasses, and I heard a boy's voice, and I looked out, and then I was it. I just saw a pair of giant eyes, of giant reptile snake eyes, and then I died. And then Ron looks down at the little faucet, or Harry looks at the little faucet and sees a Slytherin sign, like a little snake sign, and he figures out this is the entrance to the Chamber of
Yep,
Secrets.
they got it.
And
That's
then
the
he
one.
says some stuff, and he goes, why don't you just tell it to open? And he uses partial tongue, and he tells it to open, and it's just fucking cool. It's like
He
a cool,
uses
like,
that partial mouth, yeah.
like a transformer. And they're like, wow, that's a big hole. We don't want to go down first. So let's just straight up kick Lockhart's ass into the hole. And he's like,
stuff.
it's really dirty down here, Mr. Potter. So they follow him down, and they land on a bed of skeletons, which is just this creepiest, scariest
And
thing
a
ever.
lot of dead mice.
A lot of dead mice. Well, that's what a giant basilisk would eat.
It actually is.
I know. Down in the caves, they find a giant snakeskin. And of course, Lockhart wrestles Ron's, pretends to faint, because he's terrified, and then wrestles Ron's wand away from him, not knowing Ron's wand is
Backfires.
broken. Tries to do the memory curse, and it backfires on him and wipes his memory out. And then Ron is like, this guy's fucking useless. I'm just going to give him a
gonna
concussion.
Stone him in the head.
It just beats him over the head with a thing.
Ron found someone more useless than him. It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's true. Let's see. Harry goes on to fight. I think at one point the spell that backfired. Oh, that's right. The spell that backfired made the cave in. And so he goes, "Hey man, try to dig some of this rock out. You can't get back up there. You're useless. I got to go on my own and go find Ginny." He comes to the dopest door ever, the snake door. where he tells it to unlock, and the snake goes around and unlocks it as it reaches the other snakes.
So
I'm like,
cool.
fucking everything about
So
Slytherin's
cool.
kind of cool. I don't know why Kevin hates being in Slytherin so much.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
in
crazy.
Slytherin. He is
Born
kind
for
of
it,
cool.
yeah.
Gryffindor was cooler though.
Comes to this amazing
bad you're
chamber
not
that is
Gryffindor.
lined with giant cobra heads, and at
You
the
know
end of
that.
it, we see a giant statue of Salazar Slytherin's head. Of course, Ginny is waiting there at the bottom, unconscious, and who should come around the corner? Tom motherfucking Riddle. But it's not Tom Riddle. It's sort of the ghost of Tom Riddle. And as Ginny dies, he's sucking her soul and
You
coming back to
become more
life.
real.
In reality, becoming more real.
Like not transparent. You know.
and
what I'm
he's
saying?
like-
I'm a memory, is what he said.
And he's like, after I unleashed all this shit back in the day, Dumbledore wouldn't let me fucking go. He wouldn't keep his eyes off of me. So I had to lock a part of myself into this diary forever, just in case. And you'll realize the significance of that a lot later from now. But
Makes no sense,
and he's
yeah.
like, I want to continue Salazar Slytherin's work. And then Harry's like, why do you want to kill mudblugs? And then immediately he's like, you know what? I actually don't want to do that. I just want to come back to life is what I want to do. I'm not interested in killing mudbloods. Now I want to kill you, Harry Potter. And he goes, why do you want to kill me? He goes, because how is it a fucking boy with no power whatsoever could have defeated the Dark Lord Voldemort? He's like, what do you fucking care about Voldemort? He's nothing to you. He goes, he's everything to me. He is my past, my present, and my future. And then he goes, of course, he's like, Tom Riddle forms I am Voldemort. Which
So
is
that's
fucking
cool.
Lord
dope.
Cool.
Bam,
Yeah.
bam, ba-dam.
It was stupid. I hated
it was-
it.
Dumb.
I
Like,
loved it.
it
I
was
remember
so
when
corny.
I watched it, I was like,
I remember.
That's the riddle.
As a kid, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, reading it in the book, I was like, man, that's like really cool. But
Yeah,
even as a
for
kid
sure.
watching it in the movie, I was like,
Because it took.
this is kind of dumb.
Here's why it was cheesy, because it took forever for him to write it out.
Yo, let me make
Yeah.
it better for
Alright.
you. Let me make it better
Yeah.
for you. In order to make Tom Marvolo Riddle's name a proper anagram of I am Lord Voldemort in foreign languages, translators had to change his name to make sense. In French, his name became Tom Elvis Judasaur, which became Jesus Voldemort.
That's great. That's
hilarious.
great.
that's pretty good. That's
Should have
pretty
just
good.
kept it in
Jay
English.
Sweet.
Of course, he was like, "I'm Lord Voldemort. I'm going to be the greatest, most powerful sorcerer on the fucking planet." And Harry's like, "Fuck you, dude. Dumbledore is the greatest sorcerer in the world. He'll never, he'll never be as good as long as people are, You'll never get anything as long as people are loyal to Dumbledore." He shows his unbelievable loyalty to Dumbledore for no reason, really, because he's only really talked to Dumbledore like 3 times. But it's cool. We like him. He got the little chocolate box of Dumbledore in it. You know, when
Yeah.
you're a kid and you get the baseball card, you're like, I'm going to be a fan of
This is
this
my
team
favorite
forever.
now.
I love
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
love Tony Gwynn.
Just then the Phoenix comes in and drops off, which I think was the Sorting Hat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. Because it didn't really talk. You'd think the Sorting Hat would like go left,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it
So he
didn't.
has like, fuck, get me out of here, get me out of here.
Oh shit! That's a big
I got a job to do, guys.
Tom calls in the basilisk, and Harry runs away. Before he gets a chance to attack Harry, of course, the Phoenix blinds it, so now Harry can actually look its way without
pretty
getting
cool, man.
petrified or killed, which is cool. But it's still, basilisk is a fucking billion pounds, and Harry's just this tiny little kid. Harry outsmarts it, gets back to the main chamber, looks down and sees, like as he's talking to Tom, looks down and sees a sword. Grabs the sword as the basilisk starts to attack him. He scales the face of Salazar Slytherin, and then just fucking stabs that thing right in the mouth.
This
Just
is
stabs
another
in the
scene that
mouth.
reminds me a lot of the kind of final set piece in Sorcerer's Stone, the chess thing, where I'm like, oh shit, this is kind of tight. And he gets up there to fight him. Like, oh yeah. And then he starts swinging. I'm like, Harry,
Stab it.
like
Harry, stab it.
he's blind. You're not blind. Like what are you doing?
What are you swinging at?
You gotta imagine you slice at scales. Like that's gonna happen.
He was
right?
slicing it, and it wasn't going.
Yeah.
It looked like he
So-
was kind of just.
Well, he's
Flailing.
also a
Also,
10
like, let's give you
12-year-old
a
boy
sword.
with
I
no
want to see you
pubic hair.
slice
Yeah.
something.
Like, it's
That's
not
what
a
I'm saying.
wand, you know?
Yeah.
He hasn't had the popping yet.
Oh Lord.
Hasn't
Yeah.
popped yet, so he doesn't have the testosterone going through his chochinos. So he goes, fuck, this is not working.
Chochinos.
Me slashing at this thing is not working.
No, it's not
I'm just
good.
going to stab this thing through the top of the mouth into its brain. And that kills the basilisk, but unfortunately, one of the fangs slams into Harry's arm as well. And snaps off into Harry's arm. The basilisk falls down to the ground dead, but unfortunately, as Tom points out, that venom from the basilisk, it happens fast,
real
man.
good.
It's going to be about a minute, and then you're going to die. And
Harry's
like,
weirdly at peace with it. You're right.
I mean, what is he gonna do?
He does talk about it in the book. He's like, oh, if this is dying, it actually isn't that bad.
yeah.
At one-
Because I
at
mean,
one
also the
point- at one
basilisk, a lot of people don't know, basilisk venom is what the
Yeah.
cars were partying on in the fucking in the dark forest. They're just like,
I'm 12. I've had a hand job, foot job. I've had everything
love
like
it.
that
They love
stuff.
it.
I don't really mean the pain threshold. I just mean like, you know.
No, yeah, coming to terms
The
with
concept
it.
of going away forever.
I mean, at this point,
12-year-old kid is just like-
he's lived a miserable life. that
He has
he's
not had
hated.
much joy.
You know, he's had 2 years of like a lot of fucked up shit happening to him that he doesn't really understand, and he's just like, all right, whatever.
So maybe
fuck
I'm
it.
the
Like, it was a
problem.
good fight.
His would-be
Maybe.
girlfriend is petrified. He lives under the
But-
stairs. He killed his owl about 2
But
hours
that's
ago.
why
His
he's a
girlfriend.
Gryffindor, because he doesn't mind, because he knows at the end of the day, if he sacrifices himself,
For the
something
greater good.
is for the greater good.
If,
Something will
if
be
he
done.
just
it.
died here, there would have just been one more book, and it would have just been called Hermione Granger Figures It Out.
Yeah. Hermione Granger, the brains of the operation. What I love, by the way, is that they utilize the Professor X strategy with Hermione, where they're like, well, if Hermione stays in here, she's way too OP'd.
Yeah.
So we got to take her out. So
Let's take her
get her
out.
in a coma.
Captain Marvel's
put her in
on
a fucking
different
prison.
planets right now.
Yeah, we got to go over there. Of course, Tom says, who would have thought all of this from one little book? And Harry gets the bright idea. He's like, oh, the book is the source of your
book.
power, motherfucker. You think so? Takes that fang and just stabs that book. And it
Stab,
squirts
stab,
out
stab.
ink, which I think is
Scaring
that
the
was so
shit out
cool.
of
It
every
is
little
cool.
kid that went to watch this movie.
Just
Real cool.
gushing ink like it's blood, but it's black
My
ink.
little brother was terrified. Also, he was. When did this movie come out?
2002.
Yeah, he was 2. He was 2.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Scary as fuck.
Tom, of course, is like,
That's
oh
smart.
shit.
Still hot back
no one
then?
figured this out. He uses the fang venom. It makes him explode into a ball of light and just fiery fucking torture. And Ginny wakes up and looks at Harry, and she's just like, oh man, that my crush saved my life, and he's gonna give his life for me. That is the sexiest thing ever. And Harry's like, it's cool, Ginny. I'm cool. It's all
Ginny.
cool. And then Fox comes back, and he's like, oh, Fox, I was just a little. He's like, you were
Fox?
brilliant. Fox is the Phoenix.
Fox.
Falks.
Fox.
It's Fox.
Fox?
You're
Who
fine.
gives a
Fox?
fuck?
How do you spell it?
Fawkes.
No, it isn't. Isn't it with an X?
No, it's
Doesn't
not
matter.
with
The
that.
Fox, dude. Fox. It's Fox.
Jean Grey comes back and comes down, and he goes, "You were brilliant. I was just a little too slow," which is sad. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, that's not sad, because I'm gonna start crying on you, and the crying makes everything better. Now, why they don't mind this thing for the polyjuice potion and all that
Well,
shit?
you don't understand.
Or not
Making a
the
phoenix
Mandrake stuff?
sad is one of the most like painful things you can do. I don't know.
As opposed to like bursting into fucking flames. Fixes Harry and then flies them all out. And I love this scene because it's all of them holding onto each other. Totally unrealistic, but it reminds me of the cover of the
It looks
Goonies.
so stupid.
And Lockhart's like, amazing! This is amazing. Like, he's just the
That was
nicest
so
guy now because
good. That
he's
was so
daffy.
good.
Well, he's all forgot. Yeah, he
Yeah,
forgot
he doesn't know
everything.
what's
by
going
this
on.
point.
fun fact about him: he spends the rest of his life in the hospital.
Yeah.
with no memory of anything.
Horrified.
Yeah, really sad.
Why didn't the Phoenix just fly him to Mordor in the first place?
Okay.
I don't
I
get
mean, you
it.
think the Phoenix could have just taken care of the basilisk, right?
Dude, I would give you all the points if I was a professor, man.
Where's Professor
Yeah,
McGonagall
where
at?
the
Call-
fuck she
call him
at?
up.
Oot and a boot, as they say in Canada. They go back to Dumbledore's office, and Dumbledore starts chewing him out. But then he's like, you know what? I'm also going to give you a special award, because that's how we do it here.
Does this
service to
last
school.
every goddamn movie?
Yeah, it's
Hey,
okay.
you did a
Guys,
lot of
you
bad
guys
things.
fucked up a lot,
Believe it or not, at a
But
certain
you're
point,
also the
Dumbledore kinda-
grand prize winner.
There you
It
go.
was like, all right.
It was pretty badass what you did.
I mean, it's
I
pretty
mean,
dumb
it
what they did.
was.
They killed the
They
giant
killed the
snake.
giant
They get an
snake,
award for
yeah.
that. Let me tell you this way: if Kevin comes in and he's like, "Dude, you'll not believe what I did this morning," and I'm like, "What?" and he takes me out back, and there's a giant fucking tremor from the movie Tremors, like a giant snake back there that he killed. I'll be like, "Here's a special reward, Pokeball."
Which
As
I'm
long
excited to eat.
as us adults don't have to figure shit out, and these 12-year-olds can do everything for us, dope. Like, fuck yeah, get all these. I don't give a fuck about these points, dude. 40 for you, 80 for you.
Everyone doesn't matter. Like, I don't have to do shit.
Yeah.
I can sit back in my dope recliner in my pimp lounge upstairs. He sends Ron to go deliver an owl to Azkaban to get Hagrid out, which you would think Ron's not authorized to do, but Ron's like, fuck it, I'll try. I guess I'll write a note. We'll see how that works. Thanks, Harry, for showing him real loyalty down in the chamber. Nothing could have had the Phoenix go to you except for that real loyalty. And he's like, I think something's troubling you. And Harry's like, I can't help but notice that there's a lot of similarities between me and Voldemort. And that's because he goes, well, that's because Voldemort probably transferred some power to you when he tried to kill you that night. He gave you that scar. It's not intentional, but it's just something that happens when a curse that powerful hits you and you survive. And he's like, oh, that's cool. That's how I can speak Snake. And he's like, yeah. He's like, hey, maybe you could have fucking told me that last year. Maybe just sit me down and tell me all the shit you know about me and help me. Fucking doesn't matter. Then we wouldn't have stories. Then we wouldn't have stories. Oh, they wouldn't drop the ring in the thing. Oh, the ring. Anyway.
What?
Why did I become
And he goes,
a
well,
Lord of the Rings?
and he's like, shouldn't I have been Slytherin? He goes, well, you weren't Slytherin. He goes, you know why? And Harry goes, because I asked not to be. He goes, exactly. It's not about your abilities. It's about what you choose to do with those abilities that makes you a Gryffindor. And that's what defines you. And I love that because he's like,
Yeah,
you could have been a
that's great.
Slytherin. If you wanted to do bad, we would have put you in Slytherin and you would have been great. You would have been like
Kevin.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
You would have been like Kevin.
It's not funny. It's literally
but-
the conversation that he's having is about the opposite
You
thing.
chose not to, and choice is more powerful than destiny,
Yeah.
which is important.
And he has also a great moment.
He goes, if you don't believe me, look at the name on that sword. And he looks at the sword that he drew out of the sorting hat, and it's the sword of Godric Gryffindor. And only a really true Gryffindor could have pulled that fucking thing out of the hat. I also love that it's like the thing out of the hat.
Yeah.
The magicians. Magicians.
Just then, Dobby comes in with none other than Lucius Malfoy. Oh my God, you serve the Malfoys. Who would have seen that coming? And then Dumbledore straight up threatens Lucius, being like, I hope none of Voldemort's old shit finds its way in here again. Wink, wink. I know you fucking did it, motherfucker, but I can't prove it. And that's where we get the line. Well, let's hope Mr. Potter will always be around to save the day. And Harry goes, don't worry, I will.
God.
He's not sure if he can, but he's like, I just killed a giant snake. Fuck you, Blondie.
Like, I probably should have died in that cave. But
Yeah.
At this point, he's beaten Voldemort twice, right? Like he's full on. One time he melted the dude. The other time he stabbed a book to death.
Yep.
Like that's impressive.
3 times then, right?
Got a good resume.
That is
Oh
good.
well, yeah, but
Beat him
the baby one, that was his mom.
Of course, Harry chases after Lucius and gives him the diary back and says, here, I believe this belongs to you. And he's like, that doesn't belong to me, and hands it to Dobby. And then Harry's like, open it. Now, again, a technicality, because he didn't know he was giving him the
Doesn't
sock.
matter.
Wasn't
Doesn't matter.
his sock.
Doesn't matter.
But
It's
Harry
not
gave it to
giving
him,
his
changed
sock.
ownership.
You just give him clothing.
Yep.
Of course, he gave
Those are the rules.
Dobby the sock, and Dobby's like, fuck it, I'll take the technicality.
Absolutely.
I am free. Dobby's free, and nothing ever bad's gonna happen to him for the rest of the series because of this freedom, and it's not. So it's totally
Let's
fine.
just move
We're
on,
gonna be
please.
happy
Stop.
The production designer made Harry shave his leg for that scene
because he was all hairy as fuck.
What, a hairy leg?
He's Harry. It's in the
He's-
name.
Again, puberty strikes at the legs first,
It didn't
and then
see-
moves
yeah.
up to the. Oh, what's up, Harry?
Did you guys
Dobby
not
is-
love this scene? I love this scene so much.
Well, Dobby's free, and then of course, because he's pissed because he lost his house. He's like, "You lost me, my house elf. I'm going to literally cast the killing curse on you." Start saying the what is it, Barrett?
Avada Kedavra.
Avada Kedavra. Kedavra. And at this point, I'm like, "Yo, you just trying to kill a student?"
Yeah.
Because I was Dumbledore, but like, you're going to fucking Azkaban, bro. But of course, Dobby showing that house elves, if they want to, will fuck you up because their magic is way better than wizards. Just blasts him. And he's like, move on, homie. Move on. Later, of course, Hermione is unpetrified. And that's great. Harry and her have a nice little look. And again, just like a nuclear fucking reaction, the heat between these two kids
they're
is
friends.
just
They're friends.
It's a platonic relationship. Man.
Yeah.
Just friends.
I
okay.
want to.
Then Ron, of course, she walks up to Ron, and Ron's like, I don't know what to do with women, and shakes her hand, and it's like, well, you're an idiot. Dumbledore, what's up?
Is this the scene in the Great Hall?
In the Great Hall,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, weird thing here. In the original script, Hermione was supposed to hug both Harry and Ron in the final scene. However, the then 11-year-old Emma Watson was embarrassed about having to hug boys in front of the entire cast. So director Chris Columbus changed it so she only had to hug Harry and then chicken out of hugging Ron. Even then, she broke the hug with Harry too quickly, and the film had to be frozen for a few seconds to make the hug seem longer than it was.
Whoa.
That's funny.
Little kids are weird, man. Like, this is embarrassing. I don't
Fucking
feel
dedicate yourself to the role, Emma. Jesus
right?
Christ. You're getting paid a bunch for this, dude.
Dumbledore makes an announcement. Due to all of the shit that's gone down, people almost dying and all this stuff, all exams have been canceled, and everyone in the school loses their shit except for Hermione, who's like, "Oh man, that sucks," because he was looking forward to this, which I thought was a nice little
Fucking
thing.
kind of school are they running here?
You know
She's
what?
like, you know what? Hey,
we
bunch
just
of
we solved some shit. Hey, no school. This ain't a school.
yeah.
We're the cool school.
Y'all
Once
passed
again,
this
these
year.
fucking kids saved the day. No tests. No tests.
Yeah.
At this point, Harry should be like, I should be fucking running this school,
Yeah,
bro.
I think I got what it takes, bro. Because you are flying by the seat of your pants, and I am too.
You put the dumb in Dumbledore.
Of course, just
Jumbled
then, Hagrid comes back. Who should come back into the Great Hall but Hagrid himself?
good moment.
He has been released from Azkaban. Would have probably been a little earlier, but some cheap ass owl fucking got lost on the way there. Man, Ron, get your shit together.
Don't use the
Don't use your
school
stupid
has
owl.
owls.
Yeah,
don't
use the
use
school
yours.
And
he
then-
offers a tearful thanks to the gang for getting him out of Azkaban, and Harry goes, "Listen, man, there's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid." And the entire school
and
is
they
like,
slow clap Hagrid.
God.
Why?
because
It's
Hagrid's
so
the G.
weird.
He went to prison for them,
Yeah,
bro.
people love Hagrid.
But I mean, like, it just.
It was a literal slow
Well,
clap.
the Dumbledore
It was
leads around.
so
When
bad.
Dumbledore starts slow clapping, you start clapping, bro.
Doesn't matter for
I
what.
get it. It's
And
just,
all the other kids like, why are we
like, what's
Yeah,
going on?
that
Like,
moment was
hey, have
not
we been
earned.
briefed on what these kids did and how he's involved? and he
everyone
went
knows.
to jail.
Everyone
and now
knows.
he's
We've
Yeah.
already established in the first Harry Potter that if there's a big secret, everyone knows it.
Well,
Remember?
in the when he wakes up, was that the first one? Where,
The first
where
one when he wakes up, he's
Dumbledore's
like, of course, what you did down there
big
was a
secret.
huge secret, so naturally everyone in the schools knows. Word gets around. These are kids.
I just
okay?
thought it was
Everyone
a
knows.
weird movie moment. It's like, are you guys just trying to like have the A New Hope scene?
They needed a big moment so that we could pull out all the way through the glass and see Hogwarts for one final time, and the film ends, and that's
Fucking
it.
music
Yes,
starts going.
yes,
and
of
Of course, we don't get the
it's-
House Cup in this one, which is just a travesty.
Nobody gives a shit.
It's bullshit.
Nobody
'cause-
gives a shit.
Who cares?
Just like
that's
this.
all.
Just so everyone knows, the current point rankings are as follows. Ravenclaw with 30 points total.
Yeah.
That sounds
Thanks
wrong.
to Nick and Andy. And the Kevin Dursley at a -5 points.
Yep.
Wow. What a shame.
Really
Thanks to
quick,
Kevin.
did you guys catch the after credit scene, which is the only after credit scene in this entire?
It was an
No.
Azkaban
No.
reference, eh?
No,
Like,
so it's
Wanted poster?
It pans down,
Oh,
and
that's
it's
right. The cell is broken out, right?
It's Borgin and Burke's, which is whatever the bookstore is, and it pans down, and it's another Gilderoy Lockhart book, and it's just him looking confused on the cover, and the title of the book is "Who Am I?" And it's really funny and cute, and it's the only post credit scene of the entire movie franchise.
I
know that.
tried
That's
getting
cool.
to it because I passed by it when I was fast forwarding. I was like, oh, post credit, let me go back. And I rewound and then I pass it again. And I fast forward and I pass it again because the voodoo thing is like, you know, it's either you're going forward 1 second or 80 seconds. And then I just gave up. And I thought it was a wanted poster. I thought it was a serious
It kind of looks like a wanted
Yeah.
poster very quickly. Woody Allen corrects me in the chat. Flores and Blotch is the store that I'm thinking of. Thank you.
Hey, Woody.
The last couple chamber of facts that I have for you is Daniel Radcliffe was initially only offered $181,000 for the film. The Actors Union Equity stepped in and was like, nah, bruh. So they negotiated new terms that increased his salary to roughly $3 million.
Wow.
Those kids made a lot of money off this series.
And I didn't write this one down. I probably should have. But there was somebody that was like, some well-known actor guy that was like, I'm not going to be in this movie. This fucking 12-year-old's getting paid for more than me. And then he wasn't.
Suck it up, man.
Richard Harris, who was Dumbledore, died a few weeks before the film's release. Producer David Heyman went to visit Richard Harris in the hospital, and despite being weak from illness, he insisted that the role of Dumbledore not be recast.
Whoa.
God, so
Sadly,
sad.
he died, and they had to recast. What the fuck, Richard Harris?
I mean,
What
it
was
was
he? What was he
sad.
like? Hey,
What was his angle?
Write him out.
Then there's more. Sir Ian McKellen, who I always thought was Dumbledore.
What?
It's Gandalf.
In the later, because I never saw the movies. And
Okay.
then I don't know. I always thought that he took on the role after. Apparently he didn't. Sir Ian McKellen has said that he could never have taken the role of Professor Dumbledore in the Harry Potter films after the death of Richard Harris because he knew that Harris disapproved of him as an actor.
What?
What is going on in this
Why
community?
was Richard Harris a dick?
Richard
What
Harris?
a weird community.
Well, that was back
But
when
also, like,
the Lord of the
why
Rings
do you
movies-
care?
Well, the Lord of the Rings movies were out at this point, right? Or had started to roll out.
2002, I believe.
So they had already been
Yeah,
out.
so-
Because everyone was like, why don't you just cast...
This is 2002 too.
'Cause I remember there being an upswell of people being like, we should cast Ian McKellen as Dumbledore. Because he already knows how to be a wizard. And everyone's like, that's too confusing, bro.
He has a long beard. It'll look the same.
Lord of the
It's so
Rings
interesting
I'm
started.
because
glad
next-
they didn't. It's a different kind of wizard.
But it's interesting because the next guy they got had such a different vibe. We'll see that
Such
when
a
we get to
different vibe,
Azkaban. But
yeah.
man, he is so much more like
So much
dark
better.
and sharp. Like Richard, what I always love about Richard Harris is that he has like that grandfatherly appeal to him. The new Dumbledore is like the old guy that never had kids and is still driving around in his Ferrari. And you're like, what's going on, dude? What have you been doing? What have you been doing?
What you been doing? All right, let's have a little Boss Baby book corner with Barrett.
Who is it?
Who are you?
What a weird thing. We don't have a theme song yet. I'm sorry.
You came up with one last week.
Yeah, why don't we have Ragu Bagu?
We could do that after Boss Baby.
no,
book
because
battle.
we decided it was like it's always Voldemort, pretty much.
Barrett, give us the thing. Who are you?
Boss baby, book corner. Boss baby.
Who are you?
Boss baby.
You're looking at me like I'm supposed to do
Completely
it.
different theme from last week. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Boss Baby's Book Corner, a podcast within a podcast where I share the most important details from the Harry Potter books that were cut from the movies. My name is Barrett Courtney, and this week we will be talking about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. One thing I wanted to mention last week that I forgot, naturally, to keep this segment as short and tight as I can, especially with the later movies, with the longer books, I can't get to every detail, obviously, that they cut from the movies. movies. So again, I implore you to talk about your favorite details that I can't get to in the comments below. Just understand that, but also keep in mind hold off on future spoilers in the comments and whatnot for the people who are
Get in there.
for the people who are watching this for the first time, like Tim. Don't be like Nick. Avoid future spoilers. Anyway, let's talk
did
about
good this
Chamber
episode.
of Secrets, which comes in at 341 pages, like I said earlier. A nice afternoon read, like the first book. So it wasn't that hard for the movie to get all of the important stuff. So like last week, I'm going to get a little nitpicky, but from here on out, I'll only get kind of nitpicky. Detail number 1. In the movie, Hermione fixes Harry's glasses in Diagon Alley. She doesn't do that in the book because that shit's illegal. You can't perform magic outside of school. What are we trying to paint Hermione as now in these movies? A fucking criminal?
She's supposed
Bullshit.
to be Topanga.
No rules, dude. Forget everything you know.
never do that. She would never break those rules.
Detail number 2 that I kind of just added, being reminded during the middle of this episode. Mr. Weasley's job in the Ministry of Magic is the misuse of Muggle artifacts. So the fact that his car is magic is actually like a problem and is kind of illegal.
Well,
so that's another reason why like he gets in trouble at work
So
because
you're not supposed to use artifacts from the Muggle world for different things?
yeah.
yeah, you're not
So,
to
like,
like
What Dobby does with that sock is wrong.
God.
yes, it's very wrong.
But
Elf come.
to be clear, he wrote the law that forbade
he
anyone.
wrote like a loophole basically.
So he left a loophole so that he can experiment with cars and motorcycles.
Yeah, but basically it's like a
Weasleys.
Yeah, they got it.
detail number 3
No weasels.
Yeah.
in the book you learn that Mr. Filch, the caretaker of Hogwarts, is a squib who is a person who is born from magical parents but does not possess any magical like
really
powers
sad.
themselves. So Harry accidentally like finds this out and Filch catches him doing it. And so when Mrs. Norris gets attacked, Filch uses that as like proof of like he knows I'm a squib. That's why he's like coming after me when the first attack happens.
Also, Filch kind of reminds me a lot of the
Walder Frey?
Well, of course, he played Walder Frey, but he reminds me a lot of the old creepy homeless guy in Dennis the Menace, the live action movie.
Holy shit, yeah.
I forgot who played that guy. Oh, it was a fucking Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Lloyd. What's
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd. Yeah.
That's it.
Detail number 4. In the movie, when Harry and Ron take Polyjuice Potion, they still have their voices. In the books, however, the Polyjuice Potion changes your voice to the person that you're imitating.
And it does in the
I don't-
movies too later, but
I don't know why they made this change.
Weird.
I
It's
felt
dumb.
like
Yeah.
I felt like they were like, oh, let's have it be goofy, where like they have to pretend to be Grab and Goyle, but I don't know why they made
dumb.
that change.
Because Crab with Harry's voice was adorable.
Okay,
it was dumb.
But
And they
anyway-
don't-
And we're
they
not
don't-
familiar enough with Crab's voice for that to
Yeah.
be like a weird shock.
This isn't Bulk and Scully.
Anyway, I'm gonna bring this
I like how you
specific.
always say Scully. It's just Skull.
I'm going to bring this detail up once or twice more. So remember, put this in your head about
Get in that
Polyjuice
noggin.
Polyjuice
thinking,
Potion and
X-Files.
voices.
Yeah.
Detail number 5. This is probably the most petty detail that I have in the entire series, but it drives me insane. In the movie, after the Basilisk is blinded by Fawkes the Phoenix, Tom Riddle yells out, "But the Basilisk can still hear you." But in the book, he says the Basilisk can still smell you. I don't know why the fuck they changed it. It's just like one of those dumb moments.
Here's the
I know
thing.
I know why they did it, so Harry could throw the rock. and the
Yeah,
Basilisk
that
could
makes a lot
slither.
more sense. Otherwise, the snake should have been able to eat him.
Yeah.
It
But-
should have been
but-
like,
Otherwise,
they don't do
Harry
that-
would have farted.
But they don't.
you're right there.
They don't do that moment in the
Jeez.
book though, where he gets like cornered and shit, because it's more likely that the Basilisk, even though the Basilisk can hear him, whatever, he can still use his tongue to fucking. Even though if he hears something out of the corner, he still smells him with his fucking tongue.
You
It
don't
makes
know
no
that, 'cause
sense.
At no point does the
Fuck!
basilisk do the little tongue thing.
Okay.
Snakes don't have
and then
noses.
the last
do.
detail I have, I forget where they talk about this in the book, but the reason why you might be wondering, Tim, why the fuck they would hire Gilderoy Lockhart, because he's very incompetent.
Yeah.
But they talk about in the book at some point like no one wanted the job, no one was taking the job, so Gilderoy Lockhart was like the last opportunity to like get someone into the position.
Defensive dark arts.
Yeah.
Didn't Snape want that?
Yeah.
No. Well, more importantly, he had done the memory wipe thing to two of Dumbledore's friends. So Dumbledore, like, was gonna catch him. Like that was the plan.
They don't talk about that in the books at all, though.
That's some.
Pottermore bullshit?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this week's episode of Boss Baby's Book Corner. What are some of your favorite details that I couldn't get to today? Leave them in the comments below. And while you're at it, why don't you give this video a like? Share with your friends who
like it,
love
dude.
Harry Potter. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'll see you next week for another episode of Book Corner. But until then, eat slugs.
Boss babies, book corner. Boss babies.
He read the books.
Sorry, I
froze for a second.
No, it was great. It was perfect. But next time I want like a little bit more of a whisper.
Dude.
He read the books.
Do it again.
Boss babies, book corner. Boss babies.
He read the books.
He read the books.
He read the books.
Yeah. What's up?
Can you give me this next one?
Man, I don't feel
You're on the
worthy.
spot.
I don't feel worthy of making a theme song for Cool Greg because he's so much better than me.
Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Golden Snitches Get Stitches, the Cool Greg effect for the Harry Potter universe. Cool Greg, what'd you think about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets?
Man, I liked it a lot. You got young Tom Riddle, Ghost, the ghost of Voldemort. You gotta fuck with that.
The goat.
What's up?
And then we got blood graffiti.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Right?
They're the most fucked
Yeah.
up kind of graffitis.
Yeah, I really fucked with
Blood
that.
bombing, you know?
That was about it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
saw-
that
wait,
was
wait,
Golden
real quick,
Snitches Get
cool, Greg.
Stitches.
The spiders didn't do anything.
Fake spiders. I ain't scared of fake. That's like being scared of a security guard when I'm saying scared of the feds. You know?
all right. Thank you, Greg.
And the quote of the episode.
Very much. Cool Greg.
Oh, fake spiders must
Oh,
like
Jesus
security
Christ.
guards.
Do you want the Ragu Bagu, Nick? Will that make you happy?
Ragu. Biggity-baggo.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, a podcast within a podcast. My name is Andy Cortez, joined by my co-host, Nick Scarpino. Oh, two Ravenclaws, you know what I'm saying? Two Ravenclaws. So last episode, we had
good
just
pivot.
Dumbledore and the guy and Hat Guy.
So we had Voldemort and Professor Quirrell.
Hat Guy.
That's number one right now.
Yeah.
So the question is, do we put Tom Riddle, and I'll go ahead and say this,
Snake.
and Ginny.
Basilisk.
Why Ginny? Oh, because she was.
Because she was- because
she's
she was a
similar
bad
to-
guy in
No, she wasn't though.
So I'll
but
say
she was taking over.
I'll say
Yeah.
Riddle,
Like-
Ginny, and the Basilisk. Do we put them higher than Quirrell? My vote is for yes.
My vote is for yes, just because I thought
better plan. Tom is a more fascinating character, and he's this diary was just a cool idea to imprint your spirit in there, just in case.
But also having his name like as a stupid anagram, pretty stupid.
Pretty
no,
dope
it was
though.
fucking cool. It was
Like,
cool.
see, a lot cooler if
what could
that
we make
had
Andy
Voldemort,
Cortez out
come on.
of?
Nothing.
Crandy.
Zetrock.
The drags.
So yeah, I put the villains of Chamber of Secrets over Hat Guy and Voldemort.
Tight, me too.
You want to put that down as the name?
Tom Elvis Jedusor. Yeah, we'll
There
put
it is.
that.
Tom Jusue Elvis Presley. What's his name? And that's it for Ragu Bagus, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, if you want to pay $70,000, you can take over the Ragu Bagus Twitter account, and I'll just keep saying that joke.
I like it. I like
I'm
it a
Greg
lot.
Miller.
Now, the final podcast within a podcast for today, Haiku in Review.
7 syllables in the middle, so many songs. So last line.
Last line.
If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in review.
Everybody now stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, you too can write into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to leave your haiku review of the different movies that we watched today. The nanobiologist writes in and says, "The Richard Harris, you killed it as Dumbledore. R.I.P. OG."
Wow.
Wow, R.I.P. OG. What a good use of syllables. You know? Yeah. Fighting Wombat says, "Too many spiders. The school needs to be shut down. Ron has a dumb face."
He does, man.
That spider scene, man. That face was a lot.
I mean, he's a kid. He's a kid.
Hey, but Harry's in
He's a kid
control.
with a dumb face, right?
Harry's got it together.
He's a kid. Matt
Matt Edwards says in the award for world's most incompetent twat, Gilderoy Lockhart.
Oh, I think he was going to say Ron
Okay,
Weasley.
Nanobiologist also says 80-year-old man corrupting and stoning kids. That's messed up, JK. It is messed up.
I will say this about JK, like, you know, very creative with her words and her syllables and her vowels and having a lot of creativity in naming things. I hate that. I hate Fred and George.
Why?
I wish it was
names.
like Fred and Frank or like
Well, so we got Ron,
George and-
Fred, George, Percy.
like
What
as
are
the
other
twins. I
brothers'
feel like it
names?
should have some
Charlie and
alliteration.
Bill.
Charlie and Bill. Yeah, they're just normal names,
They
bro.
named a character Justin.
Like Joey and Johnny would have been cool.
But to be fair, his last name is like Fintz Fletchley or something.
Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. There
Yeah.
we go. And then the final one, J6 says, "Lockhart, what the fuck? Defend these kids, you dumbass. No one talks to ghosts?" Question mark. It's a good question, man.
No one talks to ghosts.
I feel like the ghosts would
nobody
know
talked
a
to
lot.
Moaning Myrtle.
The
She would have been like, "Yo,
paintings
I."
having a lot of information.
But
I
the
don't
thing
think
about the
paintings
ghosts
are
is they don't give a
ghosts.
fuck. They don't care.
Headless
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah.
They're ghosts. Again, they're like, I can't be killed twice. Why would I
Yeah.
give a shit what happens in the human
Yeah.
world? I'm dead.
How do you think they gave him the mandrake juice?
John Drake juice.
But nearly headless Nick?
Yeah.
Just squirt it all over him.
Yeah, I just hope that it works.
They just like, because you can't grab
I
them,
hate
so they just
moaning,
like
bro.
splash them.
No, I
probably.
think he like in the book they say he like naturally heals up because he's just a ghost, so he just like kind
So
of
he was
like,
just faking the whole time
just
for
a
no,
attention.
not faking.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week we
just
will
the
be
ghost.
watching Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Are you guys ranking?
Oh yeah, we have to.
Oh
rank.
yeah.
Fuck! God damn this show! How many shows within the show are there?
And again, I don't have a rank yet because I don't do that until week 3.
So the current rankings right now is just Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Where do we rank this one? Anyone want to start a conversation?
I have this below Sorcerer's Stone. I just found it a little bit less enjoyable. I enjoyed the world building of part 1 more. I enjoyed that Hermione was a lot more
Part of the team in the
present.
first one, yeah.
I enjoyed her dynamic with the dudes, with the 2 dudes.
I think I could go either way, but I'm inclined to agree. I think Sorcerer's Stone for me is the more fun movie because it's the entry into the world. It's a lot of world building. We get to see this beautiful thing that J.K. Rowling has made through Harry's eyes. And in this one, it's a little darker. It drags a little bit, and I do think that some of the information is like, what happens next? What happens next? Like, there's not a lot more depth to it other than that. And if it was just a standalone movie, I'd be like, this is great. But since we kind of had that same structure in the Sorcerer's Stone, I think this is a little bit of a rehashing. So I put this just a little bit below Sorcerer's Stone.
I think I'm in that same boat where it's like
Still enjoyed it.
like I think that this does a lot, like grand scheme. Like when you look at it, when the series is done, you're gonna be like, oh, cool. But right now, it's just like, oh, this is cool. I like it, but the first one has a lot more Christmas in it. You know what I mean? And that does, for whatever reason,
Halloween.
so
Yeah.
much more for me.
Yeah.
Well, Hogwarts or Halloween, man, it's a party. Although this did have the Dark Forest rave scene, so and the deleted scenes with the cars.
Yo, pass the basilisk blood.
Could you imagine if you went to the Dark Forest, just saw a circle of cars just fucking honking at each other like they're having a good time?
Rolling on Molly and shit.
Jesus
Past the
Christ.
basilisk blood.
I thought the highs in this one were higher and the lows were lower. And I thought the first one kind of was like fine the entire way through. So even with that, I feel like I'd put the first one over this one because it's just like there was enough stuff in this that I'm like, it felt like a step back for what I want the franchise to turn into.
Sure.
But I still have high hopes, very high hopes for the Prisoner of Azkaban. Cool, Greg. Where would you rank Chamber of Secrets
I put
or
this one number 1.
Chamber of Secrets over Sorcerer's Stone? So the ranking is Cool Greg thinks number 2 is better. The rest of us think number 1 is better.
Correct.
And so the new rankings are number 1, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Next week, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Can't fucking wait.
Yeah.
Do the
Until
music,
next
do the
time.
music.
There is no music.
No, but just, you know.
Wingardium Adiosa is the.
Oh, is it? You don't do that?
No.